Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to MLQ Championship Weekend. This is day two, right before semifinals will start, with our first game of the day being the New York Titans versus the Chicago Prowl. Ethan, both teams are coming into this game without having played a competitive series so far. Historically, as we've talked about previously, that's usually a worst case scenario, because once you get punched in the face for that first time, how do you respond? And we saw that in 2023 when these two teams played each other for the first time. Chicago was able to take game one and then eventually the series for a massive upset. And then they went on to the finals. And the next year, 2024, we saw a rematch in the finals between the Chicago Prowl and New York Titans, where it was utter domination. Now we're here for the rubber match. What are your thoughts?
Punch in the mouth. I would say the only thing that both these teams have going for them is they both got punched in the mouth in the regular season this year. Boston obviously hosted New York earlier in the season, won a game, forced a game three. New York was able to come out, figure some things out, make it all work when all was said and done. Chicago, much more recently, played a series against Minneapolis. In fairness, a semifinalist Minneapolis, so a very strong team in its own right. And that series, I think, for all intents and purposes, could have been won by Minneapolis, though Chicago did eventually complete the sweep and get here as an undefeated squad. It's kind of, I think it's going to be who comes out freshest. It's always tough to play that first game on Sunday morning because you just played all day. In fairness, these two teams played 2 games each, and now you slept, ended up getting a weird morning because obviously we have the 2.5 hour delay. When do you get going? When do you do your warm-ups? All that thing. I think game one is just going to come out to who off that first shift can really set the tone, like you said, land that first punch in the mouth.
Yeah, setting the tone is a very important concept, because last year we're expecting it to be different, because we have the return of Matt Brown. How much of a difference, how much of an impact do you think that has? And do you see this series going the same way as we saw last year?
Sure. It comes down to those 2 words, Matt Brown. This is one of the best players in the game, and specifically, I think one of the best players at playing against the other top beaters in the game. This is a player who can switch up their styles. We saw Chicago at times run a high press. Matt Brown's comfortable in that. Basically set up as a turret in some of those series at midfield, dared anybody to beat him, nobody could. But also, has years and years with the national team, all those camps, playing against these other top beaters, seeing how they work, and is so good at changing up the style to meet that. Obviously, it's not going to be Matt Brown alone, but when we saw that Minneapolis series, it often came up to his minutes on the field that changed things. That said, there's a lot of depth on this New York side, not only with Tate K and Tessa Chico, but also, Devin Lee and, on and on and on down the line. So can Chicago continue to match up? Because I think there's a lot more small differences in Chicago's beating lineups than just the return of Matt Brown. And obviously, with Caleb Williams out injured this year, was a part of those lines last time. So we're going to see different pieces. Sol Alexander's been playing a much bigger role for the team in the beating game as well. So we're going to have to see how this all comes together. And that's going to be, I think, a big part of it. But obviously, there's the quadball portion of it as well. And I think that's where Chicago is so loaded this season. Them and San Antonio, of course, this was stack, line after line of quadball play. It seemed like they didn't know who they wanted to play together 2 weeks ago. We'll see if they figure that out since.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up the quadball lines, because this team last year was decimated by injury by the time these two teams played. This time, both teams are well rested. For the most part, they are relatively healthy, and they have fresh chances at each other. And so right now, it'll have to be a strength of the Chicago team, which is their quadball player, versus the sheer talent and depth that the New York Titans can throw out. So we'll have to see how it goes. Off the rip, who do you think has it?
Oh, that is a tough question right now. I'd love to be asked after game one, but I guess that's not the point of the exercise, as it were. I think it's going to come down to very possibly around the flag runner game throughout this series. Obviously, New York, importantly, missing Mohagog, and Vinny Iannucci is not going to be on the roster either for the series. Was downgraded on day one. So, I'm not sure what New York's strategy is going to be coming in. We haven't seen a ton of Leo Freed seeker this year for New York. Did have 1 catch on the year. Is that the strategy now? How are they adjusting their quadball play, if that's going to be the case? Obviously, they have John Jackson back, who wasn't with the team the whole season. But difference maker, I think, in this New York team is going to be if these two teams come out tight, like we said, very possible it's going to happen Sunday morning. We saw in that Boston series how Byron Ing started to pick apart the Boston defense when the first line got a little too passive and wasn't looking to do so. Obviously, a younger player, higher highs, lower lows a lot of the time, sometimes in that first line. But that is a piece I'm going to be looking at coming in if, like I said, New York comes out tight.
Absolutely. And that's another storyline to talk about. Byron Ing has been on this Chicago squad for the last couple of years. Maybe they have a more intimate knowledge of how he plays. So these are all little mini storylines that are going to take place in this upcoming series. It's going to be fascinating. I appreciate that you actually did not give me an answer on who you think is going to win.
Oh, sorry, I totally forgot. I think because of my concern, I think I would give it to New York. I think they'll be a little stronger around the flag runner in the beating game. Obviously, Matt Brown gives those Matt Brown minutes, but I think as we go line out, especially if Noyes Osra is also going to be seeking for Chicago, which we'll have to see how that plays out. I think New York gets that edge in a series that's otherwise going to be back and forth. So that'd be my prediction. I'll say 2-1 though.
That's completely fair. I think I'm on that same boat with you. My biggest concern with this Chicago team has historically been, can they catch the flag runner quickly? Matt Melton, great seeker, very solid at getting really good attempts. Noyes Ostra, another great seeker, but are they as automatic as potentially what New York can throw out there in a Leo Freed or a Kellen Cupid, so on and so forth? I also think it's a 2-1 game, but we'll have to see how that goes with the semifinal starting in just a few minutes. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Can't wait to have you all on the entire day. Right after this is the second semifinal of San Antonio versus Minneapolis Monarchs. So stay tuned for that. We should begin in just a few minutes.
Hello and welcome back to Buffalo, New York for the MLQ Championships 2025. The semifinals are here, and it is a rematch between the New York Titans and the Chicago Prowl. Last year's finals, as well as the semifinals 2 years before that. Changes in the starting lineup for both teams as Lindsey Morella is active for the Titans and Riley Andrews is making their championships debut for the Prowl. We'll have to watch the health of both of those players. Two huge pieces on both sides. Ben Mertens and Melinda stop here on the call. We're just seconds away. Melinda, what are we looking for in this one?
We're looking for who can come out with intensity. The rain delay this morning, definitely a storyline to see how these affected both teams. How that affected both teams.
You know they're the Prowl, not the intensity now, right? Just a little joke for the old people out there.
Myself included.
We've got a brims down call from the head referee, which is going to be Chris Lecomte. Darian Mersick, Allison, John Jackson rushing for the quad ball. John Jackson got there all at the same time, but the ball eventually pops over to the Prowl. Riley Andrews has it. And dodgeball control ends up in the hands of the Titans. Very aggressive play from Vincenzo Chico to take Mersick Ellis out of the play. Andrews still has the ball. Matt Brown knocks a dodgeball loose and wins control. Chaos in the game. Ball's on the ground. But Chicago unable to craft the Titans' chaser defense and slows it back down. But it'll be Brown and Osra with control early for the Prowl. Now to Mersick Ellis. Beat misses. Vincenzo Chico dodges, but is then beat by Osra. Now the ball's on the ground. Here comes Mersick Ellis working on Jackson. Wrapped up big. Gets the ball out to Andrews. Andrews with a chance now. Fakes.
Oh.
Stripped. And Morella gets the ball. Two huge stops from John Jackson on that opening play.
If this opening play is any indication of the game to come, I think we're in for a good one, Ben.
Absolutely. Dodgeball control flips. A big opening is made, but just stonewalling chaser defense from the Titans. And now the Titans get their first chance. They've subbed in Devin Lee and Tessa Chico, their preferred first pair. Just don't run for the dodgeballs. Potter handling the ball now, going to go across to Jackson. Rangers just have to jog all the way back to the keeper zone. Was checking the play. We do have a foul. So
head referee Kevin Chris Lecomte said New York number 16, but
there's two number 16s. And Osra and Lee apparently both think the foul is on them. So the little discussion from the referees here to figure out. Okay, it is on Noise Ostra. Chicago's number 16 who picks up the card.
Yeah, based on Noise Ostra heading to the box there.
Based on the body language on both sides.
Yeah, that it was going to be on Chicago, and Chris Lecomte just misspoke on that one.
Okay, so that changes the situation pretty dramatically. It'll be Lee will be able to inbound this dodgeball right over to Chico. It will still be Chicago's ball, I believe, because New York just scored. But it'll be controlled to New York. With Matt Brown right there, I think Lee will just lob his ball back to Hoos, but Chico will be there to cover it. Yep. Brown is going to try to make a race. Ooh, a bad bounce for Brown.
Unfortunate. Oh,
and another immediate stoppage.
Okay. I'm not sure what could have happened so quickly. Perhaps something, it has to be something in that beater transaction.
Yeah, because all that happened in the quad ball game was Riley Andrews took 5 or 6 steps. Okay, so now New York number 16 gets the card for an illegal swat.
So maybe that's what that bad bounce was that we saw was a swat from New York.
Yep, so I was wondering why Matt Brown's ball deflected right to Tessa Chico. It's because Devin Lee swatted it there, but did so illegally with the second body contact. So now both teams are down to beater. Brown can probably just exchange with Chico here and create a no dodgeball situation for his teammates or try to make a play to win control.
Well, he does have one dodgeball back already, so
he's just going to try to keep Chico away from getting any balls.
Right.
And now start beating chasers. But Riley Andrews is going to have to shake John Jackson. Finds Mersick Ellis. Fakes. Big dunk. Race after one. Lee is beat.
Oh, wow.
Brown is also beat.
Wow.
But it'll eventually end up with Matt Brown controlling 2 dodgeballs. His partner still in the box, of course. Osra is out now, so this should be control back to the Prowl. And meanwhile, John Jackson just now left his keeper zone.
Both teams at full strength now. That last drive, I fully expected Prowl to be able to score without any beaters on New York's side, which they did.
And they got to the answer eventually, but it took them a minute because of John Jackson and Leo Freed being such tough presences who can both defend the hoop or step out as a point defender.
Yeah, they're definitely quadball players you want to respect.
Here's Molly Potter. She's got some space, but she's eventually just going to send it over to Jackson. Lee is trying to creep up on Brown and Winter. Like, now Potter again. Potter can go right to the hoop. She gets it. The beat missed, and Potter sinks the goal. And we have seen that a lot from Molly Potter this season. A long-time shooter, really more confident in her ability to drive and get all the way to the rim this year, and we see the result right there. Another goal for the Titans.
Having the confidence to drive that ball in, especially as a smaller-bodied player, is huge for New York.
So Riley Andrews with the ball now for the Prowl, and dodgeball control still with the Prowl. We saw them take advantage of that no dodgeball situation last time. Tad Walters has entered the game for Brown. Ball goes back to Andrews. Andrews has his face and finds an open shot off of a hammer concept Ostra set up, beat out the chaser on the hoops. And Ostra is going to maybe be able to save control here. Yes. So Prowl gets everything. They get the goal. After some chaos, they hold on to control.
New York smartly slows down the play as the beater game develops.
For the Prowl. Devin Lee is chasing down the third dodgeball behind the hoops. John Jackson is going to lob it deep to Freed, who is protected by Lee, and Freed will save it. Freed thinking pass to Potter. Riley Andrews intercepts it and is going to try to run. Dodgeball is relayed to Chico. Andrews is going to have to shoot. It is deflected and blocked, but the Prowl are the first to the loose ball. Another chance. Devin Lee back in the play. Mercick Ellis' beat, tries to pass it to no one in particular, and it's going to roll out of bounds.
Okay, so a little bit of a broken play there. New York doing a great job getting back on defense to protect their goal.
Yep, Devin Lee manages to get back into the play, cause some chaos. Prowl loses control of the situation. And now the Titans are on offense and have dodgeball control back. Pass across to Potter. She's taking shot again. It's just high.
I like seeing these shots from Potter.
Yeah, one thing you notice with Prowl is they love to have their point defender in their zone just stay attached to the other team's main ball handler and force that secondary facilitator where Potter is to actually show they can beat them. She's done it once. She misses the shot that time. But if she continues to take that sub from Chicago, this is their second line, but one of their strongest ones. Veteran group of Liam Zock, Nathan Digman, and Ben Peachy, joined by Kaylee Fugate, who's really stepped up in the absence of Allie Peachy. Digman sends it deep to Peachy, all the way across to Zock.
Okay. Don't normally love a pass across the hoops like that, but in this case it worked out.
Here comes Digman now. And the ball hits his own beat, but Liam Zock still manages to come up with it and put it through. Nice recovery from Zock. Okay, so Zock is called beat before, so no goal for Chicago. That's a big swing early.
Score still knotted up 2-2.
Peachy with the ball now. But Chicago have another chance because Peachy came up with the ball after the goal that was called no good. Digman has it now. Is going to reset all the way to either Peachy or Zock. They're both there.
Matt Brown back in the play.
Though. They're consistently down a player just from the New York Beaters tapping out players whenever they get the chance. Zock goes to Peachy now. Back to Zock. Patience of Chicago, but New York not biting on anything Chicago's trying to do here.
Yeah, the discipline is making that tough for Chicago to find any leeway here.
I think they're trying to set up the same look, though, with Zock creeping in towards that small hoop.
Yeah.
Oh, a screen instead gets John Jackson out of the way. Digman dodges a beat, finds Peachy. Peachy shoots. It's blocked by Molly Potter. And again, this tough New York defense comes up big. John Jackson has room to run. Matt Brown's there. Jackson can shoot from this range, though, and does. So New York back on top, 30-20. Nice transition effort there from John Jackson.
We'll look for Prowl to slow down their offense again here as they try to regain dodgeball control. Riley Andrews back in the game. They're putting out that first line again here. And
I wonder if we see Chicago go to the third group eventually, that Matt Troy lineup we saw last year, or if it's going to mainly be these first two groups. Again, such a tough matchup against New York. New York getting towards its second line. Leo Freed is still out there, but otherwise it's all new players. Here comes Mercick Ellis. Jams!
Wow.
What an athletic finish.
Taking down Kennedy Murphy in the process.
unless that's called beat before, which is very possible, there was a lot going on. That ball definitely went through the hoop, despite the best efforts of multiple New York chasers. A lot of height being given up, and Annika Kim trying to deflect a dunk from Darian Mersick-Ellis.
Yeah, as a player often in that situation on defense, it is terrifying, and the best you can do is hold your ground and just pray for the best.
So as mentioned, Leo Fried's out there, but otherwise all new chasers from the Titans on a Blanchfield. Oh, we've got a call.
Take K reacts to that.
So the goal's not going to stand. There were fouls on both teams. Take K for playing after beat and Kennedy Murphy for contact from behind. I assume on the screen on the hoops that she was setting to try to open up Mersick-Ellis. So since Murphy's is a yellow and K's is a blue, the yellow card takes precedence. So the ball turns over to New York. No goal for Chicago.
That would
Shakti Cody Schwarin is going to have the ball for New York. Just subbed in at keeper for Jackson.
expect Tessa Chico to do her best here, but perhaps a dodgeball swing over to in favor of Chicago.
Yeah, Sol Alexander is off Brum, so if Chico can get Matt Brown out of the way, New York has a chance to run. Brown is able to relay one back, so it's a race now. Here comes Cody Swarin. Pass to Annika Kim. It's broken up, but Leo Fried is first to the loose ball.
And we do have Annika Kim down. Just
hard collision
part
there
of
between Mersick-Ellis and Kim.
And the rain's coming down now, so we'll see how that affects the pace of play in this game too.
Yeah, it really picked up.
As Annika Kim is receiving some treatment on the field.
Good look from New York there, but the timing not quite there, and unfortunate that it ends up with Kim getting knocked to the ground like that. So 30-20 is still our score in New York's favor. Chicago has had two plays where the ball went through the hoop called off for fouls so far, which is obviously something they need to get cleaned up, but otherwise a pretty even matchup so far.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago is going to definitely want some of these fouls back and to clean up that game if they're going to keep this game close, because so far fairly clean from Chicago or from New York. They're getting some blue cards, but nothing that's really affecting their scoreability here.
And New York's had really the only transition opportunities, that nice shot from John Jackson and then this attempt that went awry with the pass getting broken up. But Chicago hasn't really had a true chance to run in transition. They've had a no dodgeball situation created in the half court and been able to capitalize on that, but not any great transition opportunities yet for the Prowl. And we know from their series against Kansas City yesterday that they thrive in that situation. So I'm sure they're hoping to create more of that.
Yeah, probably if this delay goes any longer, that'll be part of the discussion on their strategy going forward.
Annika Kim is able to walk off unassisted, which is a good sign. New York's having a small little huddle on the field with their coach and the players who are on the field. Molly Potter's going to have subbed in for Kim. And some sort of discussion between the referees as well, but I think we'll be back underway here in just a few seconds. So it's going to be 30-20. I don't know if the referees are discussing a foul. If there is no foul, then I think Prowl end up with the ball here. Here we go. We do have a foul.
Okay.
Oh!
Oh, my.
Mersick-Ellis was given a red card for the contact on Annika Kim there. And I did think Kim was definitely in the air when they collided. Sometimes a player gets the benefit of that if their judge is making a play on the ball. The referees are saying Mersick-Ellis played the body, not the ball, charged Kim as a helpless receiver, which is a straight red card. So Mersick-Ellis is gone, and Chicago will be down a player for 2 minutes. This is potentially a massive swing.
Chicago's losing their Team USA chaser, DME, Darian Mersick-Ellis, is huge. He is typically one that they rely on heavily when they need a point.
Had a goal already and then another one called off for an unrelated foul. So it's already a huge contributor to this one. So being down Mersick-Ellis this early in the game is huge. And Chicago has to play down a chaser for 2 minutes now.
With New York already up 1, we'll see if they're able to capitalize on this 2-minute power play. And you mentioned Matt Troy earlier. I could definitely see him coming in and them looking to him to affect this game more now.
Whatever Chicago's plan was, got to change now. Molly Potter is going to be right at the hoop, but Riley Andrews will be there to try to meet, and Sol Alexander is there armed with their dodgeball.
Anna
Potter is going to go
Blanchfield.
for the shot. No good.
Leo
Fried
Fried there.
is first to it.
Oh,
No one
and
seemed to
another
know what was
miss.
happening there. Now Blanchfield beat. Cody Swarin beat. Leo Fried almost gets it again. Matt Brown saved that play, beat every single New York chaser as his chasers were unable to come up with the ball, and eventually Chicago gets the stop.
Matt Brown putting the blinders on. Any black jerseys, out, out, out. Kennedy Murphy back in the game.
So New York down, Titans going to try to press because Prowl is still down a chaser. Brown makes one beat. Here comes the press. Riley Andrews is going to take a long shot. Wasn't that far off considering that he was on the wrong side of half court, but it is no good, and New York will come up with the ball here.
A little confusion as Kennedy Murphy came into the game, affected play by receiving a pass and passing it off and leaving the field again. Not sure if that's what we're discussing, but
she's already headed towards the box, but she should be allowed on the field, right? Because New York, the only other two chasers, she'd be the third chaser even with one in the box, unless she.
Well, she was still completing her yellow card foul from earlier.
Ah, okay.
And New York did not score.
It's an illegal swat.
I was curious if there was something on the New York side. The near side AR was indicating that the foul was on New York
So
on
Murphy
that advantage play.
Might have gotten away with one there. She
Yeah.
just snuck back to the box.
I don't. Maybe they didn't notice, or maybe they decided it was a little bit of confusion in the previous play and no harm, no foul.
If the harm came from the officials over at the scorekeeping 10, they told her she was released, then you can't really blame her for that.
Right.
But regardless, the outcome is interesting. Not a quad ball turnover for the illegal swat. So New York does get the ball, and they're still up one chaser. They have one in the box, but Chicago has two.
Leo
now
Fried
Kennedy
with
Murphy is released.
Green headband on now.
Leo Fried goes to Molly Potter. She's got room to work. Sends it back up eventually. You know Fried would love to shoot here, but is going to try to pass instead. Drive from Blanchfield to Potter.
She's got
Potter
room.
Gets to space, and that shot is again off the rim. Molly Potter just a little bit off early in this game.
Oh, she is shooting, and she is taking those shots, and they are open. She's just a little,
You wonder if the rain is having any impact.
It's got to.
Chicago's still trying to kill the penalty. They're down a chaser for about another minute here, and so far have given up 0 goals. So Alexander sent back to hoops for illegal contact on Take. The ball gets to Andrews. They're just going to have to get rid of it. Deflected at the hoops by Potter, and now
Quick
Leo Fried is
transition.
running. Matt Brown dodges a beat from Take, though. Molly Potter was not looking for the pass.
Not looking. She was cutting to the hoops and just not quite seeing where that quad ball was coming from.
Fried had to get rid of it a second sooner than he wanted because Matt Brown stepped up and threw, and then Molly Potter's
he just
not
didn't
ready
quite
for it.
lead her the way that she was expecting.
I think everyone in
that
New
a
York
little
thought they
behind.
had one more second.
Yeah.
And then Matt Brown had something to say about that.
Matt Brown took control of that play.
Justin Cole, who was serving the penalty for Mercy Gallus, is back in. So Chicago kills a 2-minute red card penalty without giving up a single goal. And they wound up with dodgeball control.
Score is still 3-2.
New York is going to wish for those 2 minutes back if this game doesn't end up going their way.
Yeah.
Cole back over to Digman. It's still 30-20 in New York's favor. There's a opening, but Digman's going to pull back. Now go to Justin Cole. Molly Potter reads it. Molly Potter's defense has been on point here.
Molly Potter is playing just an absolutely amazing game right now. Some of her shots have been off target, but they're open shots, and she's getting those opportunities.
New York rushed a little bit there, and Chicago tried to press them up a little bit, but they're able to break the press. We've got Byron Ing in the game for the first time. Was excellent in the quarterfinals yesterday. Working on Digman now. Goes to Cody Schwarin.
Jason Rosenberg in, working on Noyes Asra.
No one able to really get around Digman here. Now, Ing thinks shot, and again, that one rimmed in. So that one is called good, and it's 40-20 in New York's favor. So New York gets a break.
Noyes
on one of their
Asra
shots.
gets New York dodgeballs
And
on the
here's
ground.
that chance to run Chicago's been waiting for. Digman trying to work on Ing. Shoots, scores. That looked like it was through, but we have yet another discussion about a possible foul, I think, in the dodgeball game.
I believe so. There was some activity going on behind New York's hoops between Chico and Ausra. Perhaps a play after beat, or maybe something to do with Tad Walters. I wouldn't put it past him.
All all three dodgeballs were behind New York's hoops in that sequence, which opened up that run for Chicago. But we'll have to see if anything foul-worthy happened in that beater sequence. So
you hate to see.
Oh, go ahead.
You hate to see a transition opportunity like that for Prowl to be taken away yet again.
Chicago has had several plays again where the ball went through. This would be the third one get called off for a foul if this one is called off.
If this is called off for Prowl, they're going to have a real discussion about cleaning up their game.
A great take from Digman. Just kind of danced around for a second with Ing as the point defender, then used the fact that Digman is taller to get the shot off. 2 fouls. Okay. So the goal is good. So a penalty on a New York beater for playing after beat because Chicago's goal was good. There's no time served. Then, shocking nobody, Tad Walters picks up his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of MLQ Championships 2025 and is headed to the box.
Yeah, dueling penalties on that in the play between Walters and Rosenberg.
So this is going to be a goal for Chicago, but New York's going to have a chance to equalize right away. Byron Ing will have the ball. Beaters are all the way behind the play, so Ing could have to outrun Digman and Cole here, but also the rest of his teammates can try to catch up from behind. So we'll have to see how Ing wants to try to play this, but this should be a breakaway attempt for New York.
This is going to be rough for the Chicago Prowl as Auser is off broom as well and will have to tag up.
Yeah, so Ing could try to just turn on the Jets and get through both these defenders, or could slow it up, still a transition play because Auster is the only beat on the field for Chicago and is off broom. So this is going to be like a 15 to 20 second no dodgeball opportunity for New York. I wonder if they just try to slow it down.
Nathan Digman clapping as a result of some referee discussion alongside the head coach for New York.
Wow.
Oh,
Speaking of shocking no one, Kellen Cupid managed to get an unsportsmanlike conduct foul from the bench and is also headed to the box, which means the ball is going to turn back over to Chicago.
I love these long stoppages where we discuss, potential, and then they completely change everything and flip the
now
script
our
on
analysis
us.
is ruined because, in fact, instead Chicago is going to have a great chance to score here. So that was a huge swing in Chicago's favor.
Yeah. This is a great opportunity for Chicago. However, we have to remember that Auser is off broom. If they score too quick here, it's going to give Chicago an opportunity to turn it back around on them.
Yeah, obviously your number one goal is a score, but if I'm Justin Cole, I want to score and also send that quad ball into
far
Niagara
away.
Falls.
Yes.
Cole slips. Digman has it. Digman loses the ball.
Oh my.
Cole comes up with
Cole
it.
comes up again.
And New York cleans it up, and now New York can run. Here comes Molly Potter working on Murphy. Murphy beat.
Missed beat on Murphy.
Potter swings it over to Ing. Ing back to Potter. Potter can't handle it either. The wet ball definitely a factor here. Ing working. Finds a hoop. Bucket. So after all that, Byron Ing does score.
That long stoppage really affected the traction that these players have on that quad ball, and we see them slipping and sliding around out here.
So that was a huge swing against Chicago where, due to frankly a lucky break that a New York player got a card that had nothing to do with Chicago, they had a chance to score. Instead, they can't get it done, and New York gets the goal and goes up 2.
Chicago back to full strength now with Tad Walters back in the game.
So it's 50-30 here. Digman would love to equalize here. Wants to shoot. Ing blocks it. It's deflected right to Murphy, though.
Justin Cole out, tagging in.
Murphy going back to Digman. Digman could shoot again if he wants, but is going to pull it back. Cole's tagging back in. Now Digman shoots. Did not go through. Digman knows it and is going to sub out immediately. Not a great game for shooters with this rain and wet ball.
No, and for teams that are playing a stuck-in defense and we're looking for shots in those open hoop opportunities, it's a tough game for both these teams.
So still 50-30. New York kills the penalty without any harm done. No goal given up. Both teams back to full strength now. John Jackson's back in the game. Chico trying to create some space for Jackson. Cross to Molly Potter. Murphy's going to get beat, so Potter's got a little bit of space here. Now back to Jackson. Screen is set to try to open up a shot for Jackson. Murphy keeps him on the outside, though. Good defense from Chicago here. Now back to Potter. She finds Ing, who was calling for it, and finishes. Great ball movement from New York. Eventually gets through the Chicago defense.
Great ball movement from New York. Like you said, maybe some of that rain got off that quad ball, and they were able to pass it around a little bit more there.
And
I was
Byron
wondering.
Ing was open for long enough to actually call for the ball and then get it and finish the play. So well done on the cut there.
Yeah, that was just moving the ball around enough to get Chicago in that spin cycle.
Murphy's bringing it up now. She's going to go across to Andrews. Andrews goes deep to Peachy. Now back up to Andrews. Chicago's trying to move around. Dodgeballs are thrown. There's a short opening here, but New York has both now. Peachy's just going to have to send it back up to Andrews, who is able to save it before the midcourt line, and Matt Brown is back, so Chicago will get another chance.
Rodriguez in now for Chicago, a beater.
Chicago really struggling to open anything up against this New York defense. Andrews dancing. Never mind, they made it look easy. Good beater play opens up position on the hoops, and Riley Andrews just sinks a nice little floater in. 60-40.
And Chicago does make it look, a little bit hard. They take their time, they dance around, they wait until those opportunities are there. We spoke yesterday about those high percentage shots. They're not going to rush anything until that opportunity is there.
Back to Potter. New York does have control here. All the way across to Blanchfield. Blanchfield's pass is pressured by Peachy, and it's an easy turnover. Riley Andrews has the ball. Matt Brown trying to make something
Chicago
happen
saying,
for his chasers
go,
against control. Riley Andrews is thinking shot again, and he hits again. So we're going to have a discussion rest, but an interesting idea from Chicago. They've been struggling to get transition opportunities, so Matt Brown decided to have the team run against dodgeball control and put enough pressure on the New York beaters that Riley Andrews is able to get in shooting range, and for now, sinks the shot. We'll see if the referees are going to call something.
I like the strategy. It's a look that Chicago hadn't given New York yet today, something a little unexpected. So,
goal is good. So Riley Andrews has put Chicago right back into this game with two quick goals. It's 60-50 now. And it's Isaac Cerna-Diaz and Christian Barnes in. So deep beater depth from New York, but this pair played very well against Charlotte in the quarterfinals. And they've held on to control, but have given up 2 goals despite having control here. Here's Mike Lee, over across to Jackson. A hoop is knocked down. Jackson finds Lee. No dodgeballs in the play. Here comes Lee again. Their pass is wide of Lindsay Morella and rolls out of bounds. And we have another stoppage.
As the refs discuss, I wonder if the shouting from Chicago's bench kind of put the pressure on New York in that drive. Chicago saw an opportunity to press on that, which put the pressure on New York to do something quick.
Yeah, and then Chicago ended up throwing their dodgeball away, but New York just rushed too much with the open chance there, and Mike Lee's pass goes wide. So no foul on the play. It's 60-50. Chicago gets another stop. It's been a great little run here for Chicago in the last 2 to 3 minutes of game time.
Yeah, Chicago's definitely still in this game as we're nearing the intermission.
Liam Zock sends it over to Riley Andrews, now deep to Peachy. Peachy goes back to Zock. Zock can't handle it, but is going to save it before midcourt, so no turnover. Then Peachy calling for a switch with Liam Zock.
Doesn't happen.
A lot of fighting over the dodgeballs here. Brown throws. Cerna-Diaz has to choose. Tries to pressure quad ball. The pass is outside. Zock loses their brim. Peachy is beat. New York should be able to run here. A dodgeball is relayed. Riley can't handle the ball and just kind of throws up a pass/shot.
Morella
manages to save it. Great hustle play. Mike Lee will have another chance. There's a hand up, but it's from Chicago's bench, not an actual referee. But Chicago's bench thinks there was a foul there. John Jackson handling the ball. Christian Barnes tries to beat a keeper in the zone. The ball goes across to Lindsay Morella.
Warning for stalling.
New York can't find anything they like here. Now Jackson's going to have to think shot here. It's deflected, but
by
Mike Lee is there.
Andrews.
Can't handle it cleanly, though, and is smothered by 2 Chicago defenders, and Chicago come up with another stop.
Chicago really, despite not having dodgeball control for the last 4 or 5 minutes, settling into this game and giving us a good match.
Andrews sends it across to Cole.
Wink in now for Chicago.
Zock sends it deep to Andrews. Met by Ryan Leary. Matt Brown whiffed on a throw. Cole manages to kind of swat it back towards Liam Zock, but Mike Lee has the ball. Matt Brown gets back in the play. Huge hit, and Liam Zock came off for him. This is a foul, but it's a goal anyways for New York. Jackson gets it to Leary.
They're going to call Zock there on continuing to play.
So Zock tried to make something happen there, came off Bremen, continued the rep. I think tried to let go, but just wasn't able to. So they get a yellow card, but it's immediately offset because New York got the goal.
Really unfortunate. I mean, that's part of the game. You've got to keep mounted, but unfortunate. Zock had already made the hit when they were on Broom and just couldn't. And Lee had already passed off the quad ball, and that's just.
And we talked about transition being great for New York early. That was their first chance to run in a minute here, and they were able to take advantage of it.
We're seeing Mike Morawick in the beater game for the first time today.
Yep, along with Sol Alexander checking back in. It's Andrews and Murphy together now, with Justin Cole lurking behind the hoops. Very dangerous back in that space. Murphy back to Andrews. Beat by Chico, but now Cole has a chance. Trying to get around Mike Lee, unable to do so.
Cole just trying to get rid of the ball.
Kennedy Murphy had it for a second, but was also beat. So New York cleans that up well, and Mike Lee's going to try to run again. Eventually going to slow up because Sol Alexander is back with her dodgeball, and Chicago now has all their chasers back. New York being told to advance. Eng pulls it all the way behind the hoops. Finds Mike Lee. Mike Lee is beat.
And they're beat.
Chicago read that well. They need to watch out for Eng lurking behind the play.
Morawick chasing that dodgeball down from Tessa Chico.
And eventually the stop is going to be made by Chicago and dodgeball control 1. So 70-50, but Chicago with a chance to make it a 1-goal game here. Unsurprisingly, Chicago's been far more effective with dodgeball control than without it, as are most teams.
Andrews putting up big minutes in this game after absence yesterday.
Murphy back across to Andrews. Devin Lee fakes, but eventually retreats. Morella's beat. There's an open hoop for a second, but she's already back. The timing not there. Nice pass, though, from Andrews to Cole, and Cole finishes.
Kennedy Murphy had been working on Ryan Leary incessantly on that hoop, trying to get them out of position.
Yep, opened up a great look there, and because the beaters were putting so much pressure on the other side, I think it pulled New York's beaters away from that hoop. So well done by Chicago all around as Nathan Digman re-enters the game. Dodgeball control still in the hands of Chicago, who are as compressed as you can possibly be on defense. The ball goes to Lindsay Morella behind, met by Murphy. Back to Lee. Lee back to Leary. To Lee. New York passing around, but not able to really create anything. Digman goes for the hit, knocks the ball out. But it moves to Leary. Leary now to Eng. Eng gets it to Mike Lee. The shot is opened up off a screen by Morella, and the shot is sunk.
Kennedy Murphy having the same treatment done to her. Just, putting that screen on the short hoop and getting that opening for the ball handler. So that takes us
to the 20-minute mark. It's 80-60 in favor of the Titans. Prowl has been competitive throughout, but the Titans are just able to convert a few more opportunities here.
I think if Prowl had a cleaner first half and were maybe able to share dodgeball control a little bit more, we could see a tie. It could have been a tie game here, but instead they're down 20. It's not a bad position for them anyway.
And I think on the other side, the Titans probably feel like if we hit a couple more of our shots, we'd be up 4 or 5 right now. So I think both teams probably feel like they should be in better position.
Right.
But the result we have is 80-60 with the flag runner out. And we will have to see, again, New York is down some of the seekers they've counted on this season with Mo Hagag not here and Vinny Iannucci deactivated. Kellen Cupid is active, obviously a well-known seeker. Leo Freed has a strong seeking history as well if they don't want them in the quad ball game. And then on Chicago's side, I see both Liam Zach and Noyes Astra have their yellow headbands on, so expect to see them as the seekers here.
But again, they tend to heavily rely on Noyes Astra in that beating game as well. It looks like they're heading over to the starting seeker box, though, so they will be going ahead and using them as a starter, and Kellen Cupid in.
And I have to think Chicago just likes the particular matchup here. They've relied on Matt Melton a lot at seeker, and I think are very confident in Melton, but Noyes Astra is the tallest seeker they have, and I think they are hoping that Astra can just get their arms around our snitch, our flag runner Chase Contreras. We've seen Kellen Cupid make some big grabs in MLQ before.
Kellen Cupid, yeah, his reputation precedes him. One of the better-known seekers in our game.
Yeah, this is the first chance we're going to see them on the pitch. Not active yesterday in the quarterfinals, but making their debut at seeker here. In a big moment, a flag grab for New York would not necessarily seal the game, but would put them up big. If Chicago gets it, they'd retake the lead. So I think both teams really want to come up with the grab here. So it's Tad Walters and Matt Brown together at beater, a look we haven't seen from Chicago yet. Two very aggressive beaters.
I was going to say.
Going up against Tate K and Tessa Chico, a pair we have seen many, many times for New York to great success over the years.
Look for a quick beat on Cupid.
Both seekers taken out. Tessa Chico lost their footing there after being beat.
And we're going to get a card on Kellen Cupid for a swat after beat on this side.
Tough potential opening for New York here. A beater down with injury, a potential card coming in the seeker game.
Was it simply a loss of footing on Tessa Chico there?
Did you happen to see? She got beat in while either trying to dodge the beat or just because of the impact of the beat lost her footing.
It is raining again, so
slick ground out there. So obviously Tessa Chico, one of the best players in the sport, a huge part of this New York program and the success they've had in the past. Huge part of the finals of their championship last year.
Jason Rosenberg and now.
And I think here come the flag runner refs to come over and tell Crystal Compt about that swat. Yep.
Chicago has dodgeball control and Noyes Astra, the only seeker going after flag runner Chase
break
Contreras.
Chicago was hoping for. They're going to have a golden opportunity here.
Look for them to slow this game down on this drive.
Chasers to not try particularly hard to score for the next 30 seconds. And Astra has it immediately.
Wow.
Wow.
They didn't have to slow that game down much at all.
Nope, I think Nathan Dickman took maybe 3 steps.
Oh, my goodness. And we'll just make sure that that's a clean catch. But
I don't see any way
I don't see how it couldn't have been. Noyes Astra. Wow. The pride of Boston, says Tad Walters.
Wow.
Wow.
So Chicago immediately takes the lead. The Kellen Cupid penalty proves costly. New York's beaters kept away from having any impact, and Astra only needs one chance to get the grab. Huge swing in Chicago's favor.
This is going to give us a 95-80 game.
Set score of 140.
Set score of 140, thank you.
So Chicago needs 5, New York needs 6, and the flag runner's already done, so we're just playing quad ball the rest of the way.
This is a huge turn of events for Chicago, exactly the break that they were looking for coming into the seeker game. I don't think anyone thought it would happen so quickly.
You never know with a flag runner. Digman sends it across to Cole. Oh, dodgeball's on the ground. Chicago's chance. I think they're going to call that.
They're
going to
call that on
kick,
Sol
Alexander. It looked close to me, but I think the refs are going to say it was foul worthy, unfortunately. So the sequence was, yep. Alexander had beat the chaser on the hoops. The ball is loose on the ground, so TK tosses his back and tries to pick it up. Alexander goes for the kick, and they're saying it was dangerous because of how close to the ball Tate already was. So a very unfortunate sequence for Chicago and a break for New York, who should have a chance to get this back to a tie here with dodgeball control in their hands now. TK trying to lead everyone out. Matt Brown is still there for Chicago.
Yeah, Matt Brown preventing any sort of quick transition from New York there.
Brown is beat. The ball goes back to Jackson. Another chaser beat. The ball goes across to Cody Swarin. Now back to Jackson.
Keep an eye on Molly Potter.
Oh!
Oh. New York had Molly Potter wide open on the near hoop.
And instead they go for the short hoop there where I think Morello was trying to screen Justin Cole off to open up a shot, but Cole was able to stay in the vicinity and nothing doing on the shot. So Chicago gets the stop down a beater, and we'll see if they can successfully kill the rest of the penalty now.
Again, name of the game for Chicago now will be slowing this game down.
Absolutely.
Waiting for Sol Alexander to get back in.
You know, Chicago has racked up some cards in this one, as has New York, but both teams have done a good job killing their respective penalties, with the exception, unfortunately for New York, of that flag runner grab.
Chicago may get a warning here soon for stalling, though, if they're not able to make a move soon. Alexander back in the game.
So another penalty killed. Murphy to Digman. Brown hits Rosenberg.
Dodgeball's on the ground.
Small opening now, but New York is already back. There's a hoop open to shoot, but Cody Suarez is there, so Digman instead goes for the pass to Cole.
Behind.
Cole fakes and goes up top and finishes tall hoop.
Great pump fake there. New York player biting on that.
Well done by Justin Cole. Knew they had enough time that they didn't have to rush the shot, which is what you see a lot from those behind the hoops chasers. Got the pump fake in, 2 hands for safety, and a little bit of style on the finish.
Stoppage of play.
Timeout, New York. Chicago is fired up.
Wow.
And in the last, 3 to 4 minutes of play here, we went from 80-60 to 105-80. An unanswered run here from Chicago, coming up with the grab and a goal to now have a nice 2-goal lead for themselves.
New York obviously wanting to discuss their game plan going forward, but probably also just wanting to calm the Chicago side down a little bit. Chicago is definitely a team that plays based on their emotions, and they are high right now. They're playing well. After that amazing catch, quick catch from Noyes Ostra, Chicago's on a high. They want to quiet them a little bit to try and get those emotions out of play.
And the crowd has been very fired up this game. Not really a biased crowd, just kind of cheering for whatever team is currently playing well. So I'm sure New York would love to get the crowd back on their side with a goal here.
Yeah.
Take some of the wind out of Chicago's sails. And if you're in New York's coaching staff, here's the situation. You need 6 goals. Chicago needs 4. You were up 2 at the stoppage. You've been about 2 goals better so far. You should be able to do it again. We should have no confidence issues here. This is something we can do. We already did it this game, right?
Yeah, I mean, they should have the confidence to be able to make that happen, and they absolutely can. I would, if I were them, maybe looking for some opportunities to get elbow through the hoop, wrist through the hoop. Some of those shots aren't going through. Let's try something else to make sure that ball goes through.
And New York has dodgeball control. Has some chasers who've been very successful this weekend on the field. We got Cody Swarin and Ing, 2 of the youngest chasers on the program, and then the veterans Molly Potter and Lindsay Morella alongside them. So a good mix of talent here for New York. Cody Swarin is going to go to Morella on the wing. She goes back to Cody Swarin. Her no-look pass is a little off. Nathan Digman is there. A beat is made. Nathan Digman is going to have a chance to run.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be a shot. And it's going to be a goal for Nathan Digman.
There was no doubt that Nathan Digman was scoring on that drive.
As a right-handed player, being able to come in from that angle is a gimme, as long as you're able to get close enough. And Matt Brown got dodgeballs on the ground. New York's beaters not able to recover them in time, and Nathan Digman gets another goal right in the rails. And here we finally see Matt Troy for the first time. So fresh legs from Chicago, only 3 goals away from the win.
look for those fresh legs again, just like Nathan Digman did on that last play, to fly out and put pressure on New York.
Matt Troy is also probably the strongest physically player they have in the quad ball game. As the ball goes back to Jackson, to Freed. It's deflected by Justin Cole. Justin Cole with the perfect read. That would have been a goal if it made it through.
All three dodgeballs on New York's side.
Troy gets the ball out to Cole. Cole now has a chance to run. Just is going to have to beat Freed. A screen from Zoc, but Cole collides with Walters.
Oh my.
And now Freed can
Freed
run.
has a chance.
Freed is beat, though. Total chaos. Cole can run again. Goes to
my goodness.
Zoc, who's not looking. Both teams kind of losing their composure here.
Both teams just need to take a breath and set up. It's it's transition central, fast break city over here, but you got to make sure your team's with you.
I think both teams really think they need this goal now. Chicago thinks they can basically put the finish on this by getting one more goal. New York thinks they can get right back into it with a goal.
I'm sure they're
both
nearly
rushing just a little bit.
tasting this game one win with one more goal here. But they do have to finish. They have to, stay tight on defense here.
Freed goes back up top to Jackson. New York's been trying to set this look up all day. And now it's an alley-oop, but it's too high. Another stop for Chicago. The execution just not quite there for New York. And here comes Matt Troy.
Missed beat by Tad Walters.
And Cole deflects an attempted throwback.
But
what a play from Justin Cole.
But Chicago comes up with dodgeball control. The crowd is going crazy here. Chris Lecomte asking Chicago to advance.
Matt Troy says it to Liam Zoc behind the hoops. Walters going to try to run a 1.5 on Isaac Cerna-Diaz. And Justin Cole has an open hoop. The goal is called good.
The goal is called good. That ball
I think that would have been dislodgement by New York.
Through.
So maybe they're going to call goaltending.
From my point of view, I did not see the ball go through.
But I also think the hoop was moving because a Titan hit it. So it might be just called good goal because of goaltending. We'll see.
We'll see what they say and how they choose to call that play.
Anyway, good job from Chicago to get the ball to Justin Cole in a very dangerous spot right behind the hoops. Cole has been money back there.
This second half of the game has been all Chicago.
Yeah, New York hasn't scored since no, Tad Walters is headed to the box.
Okay. I am curious about where that's coming from. They must have seen something.
Something in the dodgeball game. We did see Walters trying to open something up for his chasers, attacking the New York beaters. Trying to run 1.5 against Cerna-Diaz, so presumably some sort of contact during that sequence.
Yeah, Tad Walters, a very physically aggressive player.
Absolutely. And it served Chicago well at points in this game.
Yeah, assistant refs always keep an eye on him. He's very vocal and is known for getting those cards, so he's a player who needs to be a little bit more careful about how he handles himself on the field because he's one they look out for often.
Absolutely. We'll see if that ends up being the call. We're assuming. But Walters already walked to the box.
He knows.
But it's come back out now. So unclear exactly what's going to happen here.
And you've got to think they're discussing that shot and the potential goal.
Well, if it's a foul on Chicago, then it won't matter. No foul, goal is good. Walters played it clean that time. No foul called, and they call Cole's goal through. Again,
formal apology to Tad Walters.
We don't think that goal actually went through, but it would have been New York's fault if it didn't off the tip. So good goal.
Okay.
It's going to be 125-80. This is slipping out of New York's grasp here. I'm sure they're hoping to be able to quickly respond here, but they have not scored since the flag runner came out. It's been all Chicago. Chicago's on a 65-0 run.
Yeah, we talked about them trying to quiet the Chicago energy and quell them a little bit after that timeout, and they just have not been able to do that.
John Jackson hits it ahead to Freed. Liam Zoc trying to catch up from behind. Walters is there, still armed, so it's not going to be a real fast break chance for New York. Christian Barnes is going to try to run a 1.5 now. Gets one hand on Walters, but Walters slips free. The ball goes back to Freed.
Christian Barnes loses their broom.
Jackson sends it deep to Freed,
Freed's
and Freed is going to finish. Jackson and Freed finally connect on that look they've been hunting the last several possessions. 125 to 90. So 2 needed for Chicago, 5 needed for New York. Subs coming in for Chicago. They're getting back to that Riley Andrews and Ben Peachy coming back into the game as well. Kind of a mix of the first 2 lines here for Chicago.
Here's Noyes Ostra again for the first time since their flag catch. May Overholt back in the game. New to the Chicago team this year. She took a break from quadball and came back USQ, played for Boom Train this past season, and is now on Prowl.
She's trying to set a screen for a potential shot here. A lot of exchange beats right on the hoops, but still control the Titans. Here comes Riley Andrews, but eventually going to pull it back out. It's just such a compressed New York defense. The Prowl's going to continue to shove. Murphy, though, finds Peachy. Peachy goes back across to Andrews. Andrews dances, gets all the way to the hoop, but misses the contact from Jackson too much.
And they're going to call a foul. My guess would be on John Jackson, just due to the contact. I didn't see it. Great job for Leo Freed. They had a short Chicago had a short opening on the near hoop here. Leo Freed flying out and closing that gap. So Chicago had to reroute.
Yeah, we'll see what the call is here. Andrews got pretty close there, but wasn't quite able to finish. We do have a foul. So Isaac Cernadia, the beater for New York, called for playing after beat. So on one of those interactions with Walters, must have not tagged up properly. So a break for Chicago here, because I think they'll get the quad ball back here. It's going to be in the hands of Overholt. Christian Barnes is still there. Chicago had started retreating back on defense, and Chicago doesn't have a dodgeball currently, which you'd think from a beater foul they should get one. Walters does have one.
Look for Riley Andrews to try to get rid of this quad ball quickly, as Christian Barnes is there with a dodgeball.
Yeah, so they could send Overholt, who could then send it to Peach, who could try to run in, or they could just try to slow it down as Walters comes back.
Todd Walters is coming up with the dodgeball. Okay.
Yep, so well done from Chicago. Just get it back to Overholt. Andrews will tag up, and now Ostra and Walters do have control off of the foul.
That's one of those situations. It seems so simple, but so much could go wrong.
Murphy's got space here. Murphy's got a shot.
Okay.
Too easy for Kennedy Murphy.
Okay, Kennedy.
We have seen Kenny Murphy get so many chances to shoot this MLQ championships, where because the defense is worried about her passing ability, she gets a one-on-one that hoop, and then a nice little tap beat opens up an easy floater shot for her. And now
Riley
Chicago's
Andrews
thinking
coming
they can
out
press.
pressing.
And this is game point now for Chicago. They're at 135. The set score is 140. New York needs to go on a 5-0 run to take game one here.
Look for Chicago not to do anything different on this defense. Just play their defense, play their game. Even if they give up a goal here, they're just one away from ending this game. So
Ostra got a little far out there, but is able to relay their ball back as they get beat. Walters covers, so Chicago has this dodgeball control still. Freed handling the ball now. Across to Jackson. Molly Potter lurking in for a cut. The ball's going to go across to Freed, though. Back to Jackson. Jackson with space now, but Riley Andrews gets there. And New York just not really looking for these opportunities. Jackson just has to rip a shot with nothing open. It'll sail deep out of bounds. Walter's trying to create an opening. All the dodgeballs on the ground. All the dodgeballs out of the play. This should be it for Chicago. Here comes Ben Peachy.
Ben Peachy passing across, it's deflected.
Riley Andrews is deflected at the hoops. What a save.
Ben Peachy with the ball now.
Back up top to Kennedy Murphy. And now I think Chicago will slow it back down a little bit as Jason Rosenberg does manage to get into the play. So now some patience from Chicago. They do have control. They can sell out here if they want to go for the win. Peachy goes back up top to Andrews. Andrews can't field it cleanly.
Oh.
Andrews loses their brim. Late throw is going to turn over to New York. New York should have a chance to run here if none of them can actually get to the ball.
Molly Potter now beat by Tad.
No, they're saying not. Here's Jackson back to Potter. Potter shoots and it's off the rim again, and that's a late throw.
After beat. Okay, here's Chicago's chance again.
And Riley Andrews sees it. Starting to run now. Devin Lee is there. And Andrews will slow it back down.
Yeah, just set up that offense.
And another shot there from New York. Andrews chose for the game-winning shot, and the shot is high.
As we see so often from Chicago, after maybe a lower percentage chance, they're just subbing on out.
And Nathan Digman, who's been so good for this team in this game, is back in, along with Matt Brown.
Ben Peachy, May Overholt, Kennedy, Murphy, and Ben Peachy leaving. We've got Justin Cole back in, and the crowd
loves
really
it. There's
happy about that.
A lot of former Justin Cole teammates from Boston and the Admirals in the crowd here. John Jackson slowly working the ball back up here. Control is in the hands of the Titans. So we'll see if they can use that to finally get on the board here. Here comes Devin Lee. Deep pass to Freed. Matt Brown streaks out aggressively. Freed just kind of loses the ball, unsure what they want to do. And here's Digman with a chance to run. Clobbered by Freed, but gets the ball over to Justin Cole, who's worried about the beater. And now Leo Freed has it, and he's just going to have to beat Digman. But here's Matt Brown. Dodgeball's back in for Chicago. Freed just kind of lobs it up. Jackson able to save it from a backcourt
New York
violation.
lucky that wasn't an overturned quad ball as they pass it along the midline there.
New York is speeding up a little too much on every possession here.
I'm sure they're feeling the pressure, but
Jackson passes to Potter. Potter's
pass.
beat out. The pass isn't there. New York can't get anything going. And now all the dodgeballs are on the ground. Devin Lee kicks one back. Tricks one at Digman and now picks up another one.
Matt
sort
Brown,
of a press from Lee here, but the Titans chasers just hanging back.
Matt Brown in the offense now for Chicago.
Yep, so Lee and Shaw have the dodgeball control for the Titans. Balls to Digman.
They're calling Matt Brown beat on that. This
Digman
allows
trying to run
Lee
away
to
from Lee. Not a lot of options for Digman. Warren for stalling. Exchange of beats. Here comes Digman now, trying to work on Jackson. Has a pass to Cole. It is knocked down by Liffreed, but Cole comes in with the loose ball, and Devin Lee throws a pass to Digman. This could be it. Digman goes for the big jam. It's off the top of the rim. Overholt misses as well. Freed knocks it forward. Just trying to reset the defense. 2 missed chances to end it for Chicago, and Digman's going to sub right back out for Andrews.
The end of this game is, I'm thrilled.
Every play is extremely exciting to watch at this point in the game, with Chicago on the doorstep of winning the game, but New York selling out to stop them. Murphy has another shot. Deflected by Freed. This time New York ready for it. Lindsay Morella beat, though. Riley Andrews has the ball.
We've got a...
And there's going to be discussion about who's going to end up with the ball here off a pretty chaotic sequence behind the hoops after that Murphy shot was deflected.
And we may have a player on the ground. Sol Alexander.
I think that's Kaylee Fugate.
That is Kaylee Fugate. Yep. My apologies.
She's getting up now, so we'd like to see that. And again, it looked like Kennedy Murphy was going to get that same shot she hit not 3 minutes ago to end the game, but Leo Freed, one of the best shot blockers in the game, was able to just get there and deflect it. Leo
Freed, I mean, you hear about his shots on offense, but his defense this game has been outstanding. He is shutting down Chicago Prowl opportunities at every turn.
The length and anticipation from Freed makes him one of the best shot blockers in the sport, even if he's a bit shorter than some keepers you see. The jumps are second to none. The anticipation second to none. Great length, great wingspan.
The athleticism,
able to save the game there. And I think so. If you get able to get off the field, now the refs need to figure out who actually has the ball here.
Liam Zock in now in place of Kaylee Fugate.
Up at midcourt here, Camila Rodriguez and Sharina Shaw are going to fight over a dodgeball. Other dodgeballs over here by Chicago's bench. The third one is on the ground in front of the hoops. Leo Freed was called for playing after beats.
Okay. Depending on at what point during that play that foul occurred, it might have, he gets the foul, but he might have saved the game for New York at least this time.
That's a foul I guess you'll take and saves the game.
I suppose, but now you're down Leo Freed.
You're down a player. Riley Andrews has the ball, and New York, does not have a dodge on the play. Lee and Matt Brown are going to race for this one right here.
Yeah,
so Andrews is going to have a chance here. We'll have to get through Jackson or find a pass. Finds a Liam Zock on a shovel pass.
And
Liam
there
Zock muscles through Morella, and they finish it for Chicago. Flexes for the crowd. Chicago wins 145-90. So 1-0 for Chicago. They go up 1-0 in this series. What a game. So really a tale of two halves. It was 80-60 at the stoppage, and then New York manages only one goal after that. Chicago gets the grab and scores 5 more goals to get the win.
Just an incredible second half for Chicago. The first half of the game, all New York. Chicago stuck in it, but it wasn't the typical Chicago play that we're used to seeing. But they really got fired up, especially after that quick catch from Noyes Ausser in the second half, and it was all Chicago from there.
And something that we've almost forgotten about because it happened, 30 to 40 minutes ago. Darian Mersick-Ellis got a red card 2 minutes into that game, and Chicago won.
I mean, that definitely could have affected Chicago's play early on in the game, losing one of their top scorers in Darian Mersick-Ellis, certainly someone who could have been a player to power through their Leo Freeds, their John Jacksons, but, Chicago coming out on top regardless.
Liam Zott gets the game-winning goal. Chicago takes a 1-0 lead here in the semifinals. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk now, and then we'll be back here with San Antonio versus Minneapolis, game 1 on the other side of the bracket, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, Ben, for that lead-in. I think that's one of the biggest things that Ben was talking about, Ethan. Could you imagine where DME gets carted out of the game in the first 2 to 3 minutes of game time and Chicago ends up winning convincingly?
I can, and I can tell you why.
Absolutely.
Because we spent the preview talking about a player that came back into the Chicago system, Matt Brown. Matt Brown had his moments in that game, don't get me wrong. We didn't talk about the other player that came back into the Chicago system after a year off, Riley Andrews. Riley Andrews cooked in that game. Riley Andrews was hitting shots, finding passing options, the combination with Justin Cole a few times down the stretch as well. When the offense was going a little slow, as we said, both teams came out a little tight. When the offense picked up, it was because of Andrews. A huge performance out of him. I think one of the big storylines in a game that, as you mentioned, DME goes out, but this team is deep, and Riley Andrews carried the load.
Absolutely, and I think the other massive storyline that I saw was the sheer fact that both teams were using a huge amount of depth, and one of the biggest shifts of the entire entire game was that shift of Sol Alexander and Mike Mirwowicz. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Who came in at around the 18-minute mark, got control back, and that set the stage for that Noyes pull immediately. And that was massive. When you went from being down 2 to immediately being up 1, and then from there it was just dominance from their quad ball game. Something else I personally saw, we talked about how New York has the talent, and I thought you saw that pre-20 minutes. They were up at 20 minutes, they were up by 2. Post 20 minutes, you saw the execution of Chicago coming out. They had better ideas. They were moving the ball really well. Even in those moments where they were getting pressed, the ability to stretch the field and use every single part of the field was excellent. And they were able to salvage a lot of possessions that way. But now you're on the New York side. What adjustments do you see them making?
Well, you mentioned both teams playing in their depth, and both teams did play into their depth. It feels like at times, though, Chicago trusts its depth a little bit more. We saw it on display down the stretch. We got that first line, the Freed, Morella, Potter, Jackson. And at times, obviously, there's a lot that this line offers. They're extremely solid defensively, but at times, the offense can get stagnant with them. And we talked before the series about how much of an impact we saw Byron Ing making. Byron Ing stepped onto this field with, I think, them at a deficit, or at least in a very close game. And one of the better flows of New York's offense for the game was Byron Ing's first shift. They did play around flag around pitch as well, but then down the stretch, it was all the other 4. I'd like to see a little bit more trust in their lines. Also, a big storyline is going to be Tessa Chico, who did go out of the game, looked like cramping up, and wasn't able to check back into the game. You felt that loss in the beater game. The beater lines felt off. Tate K never really came back into the game once Chico was out of the game. And so I think that's going to be a major part. Obviously, Tessa is a big part of what this team is looking to accomplish with the beating. So that's going to be a big part of it for New York as well. But I think they're going to have to trust, especially in the quad ball game, a little bit more of their depth. Like you said, though, so happy with what Chicago is doing. It's something you brought up so well in MLQ Replay during the Minneapolis series when things weren't always, where the results weren't always there. It was a very process-based organization from Chicago. We love what we're seeing, the ideas, the screens, and a couple of the plays when Chicago needed those goals. We've talked so many times about how in set score, when teams start getting close, they get very tight. You could tell Chicago had ideas. They had a play where they popped it back up to Kenny Murphy, who already had a screen on a hoop waiting for her. She had basically a free shot to hit. Andrews had a couple similar setup plays. just more ideas from Chicago. And that was the difference, along with the Neuhauser catch, which we didn't even get to. One opportunity made it happen.
Yeah, and that was my biggest worry. Can this team catch quick enough? All of my worries were gone within an instant. And I think if they can continue to get those quick looks and provide Noyes those opportunities, I think we're in for another dominant performance from Chicago, because you've made jokes all summer about how I forgot DME was on this team. They might not even need him, which is wild. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see what adjustments get made. But again, this is what we saw in 2023. Chicago ends up coming out strong game one, punching New York in the mouth. New York was able to right the ship and get back on track for game two, setting up a rubber match. I wonder how they come out this game two to figure out if they will get that opportunity to now that they are playing for their season.
Right. I think the big difference is in 2023, there was a clear favorite versus underdog. You know, there's a lot of the same players on the Chicago team, but they weren't at the talent level or execution level they're at this point. So often when an underdog gets that game one upset, game two is almost always a letdown. They just poured so much energy into that moment. This is a Chicago team who's expecting to, I would assume, win the championship, because that's what any good team like Chicago should be. In that case, you're not expecting a letdown game two, because you're just expecting this is the level we play at now. So I think New York, rather than maybe seeing a Chicago team that takes their foot off the pedal in game two, is going to have to punch at that level if they want to pull the upset.
Absolutely. And hey, we will be back with that game two in just a bit. However, before that, we have our second semifinals game starting in just a few minutes, with Minneapolis Monarchs coming off of a series of the weekend type caliber performance, coming off of that massive victory over Boston, setting up the stage against San Antonio Soldados. The number one seed coming out of the South versus the number two seed coming out of the North. Where do you think this goes?
Yeah, I mean, we've used the phrase punch in the mouth a lot of times, and this Soldados team kind of cruised through the South Division this season. The Washington Admirals, to their credit, played two competitive games against the San Antonio team, couldn't get the job done, but San Antonio is really waiting for that first punch in the mouth still. And when this Minneapolis team is playing at their best, they can give it. The other big difference Minneapolis has between them and the Washington game is if they're hanging around, they have Joe Goulet to go to in the secret game. Washington really didn't have those answers for how they were going to get those 35 points at a slight deficit. San Antonio also has to deal with the Chicago issue that we listed a couple weeks ago. San Antonio is playing through so many lines. It's so hard to get, into rhythms and whatnot. Hayden Boys has hard decisions to make about how they want to run their lines, and that's going to decide a lot of what San Antonio's ceiling is this weekend.
Absolutely. And so, hey, with all that, we're going to start the game two in just a few minutes. Please continue to stay tuned. This is going to be a great day of championship quadball.
We are here for the 10th year of MLQ, and Darren, I think it's about time we put a new franchise in the finals. The Minneapolis Monarchs and the San Antonio Soldados both looking to become the 5th franchise in MLQ history to make an MLQ final. San Antonio has consistently made semifinals, never took that final step. Minneapolis finally got over the hill against Boston last night. It took every bit of Game 3. It took everything they had, but they did it. Now, one of these two teams looking to go all the way. These teams had nothing but fireworks in their games yesterday. I expect nothing but the same today.
Oh, yeah, especially Monarchs coming off of that electrifying win last night, that coast-to-coast from Max Meyer, who is on the field right now. They are still running with that top line that they started with in that final Game 3. As we see in San Antonio, they got stars from top to bottom, every single position. Every single play, they have stars from the top of the list to the bottom of their roster. Exciting to watch as soon as the stars start to fly.
Yeah, and obviously we're about to see a run-up between Max Meyer and Hayden Boyes. Hayden Boyes, head coach of the Soldados, and also we were concerned about injury concerns yesterday. Good to see him back on the field. Meyer was the star for Minneapolis last night against Boston, including the end-to-end golden goal in Game 3. But here, I apologize, it wasn't Boyes, it was Avia who made the run-up and gets quadball control. Daniel Williams and Nunez also coming around away with dodgeball control. But this is exactly what Boston did 3 times against Minneapolis, and they were able to flip the script almost every time. Now it's going to be Avia with the ball up top. This line is extremely deadly on offense. We'll see what they can do here. Boyes gets the ball, considers a shot, being met by Voth for the time being. Comes across the lane, completely jukes Joe Goulet out of his shoes at hoops. Rips the shot, 1-0 San Antonio.
We saw that 2-2 defense here by Monarchs on this first defense possession, and again, they just went for the shot. This is an electrifying and very electric offense on San Antonio, and they can shoot as well. So as soon as you beat one and you draw that hoop defender up, it creates an opening right there for the shot.
Yeah, and good, like we said, good to see boys seeming like they are 100%, hopefully just a cramp or a muscle spasm yesterday. Meyer with the ball on the near wing here. Podolski beats Hayden Boyes, but in the zone. It's been control with Williams and Nunez the whole game so far. Williams is just going to throw back there. Now they're going to take a press opportunity. Goulet lofts something. Izzy Ramirez knocks it down. Now Hayden Boyes looking to run transition. No dodgeballs back. No, it is going to be Podolski who has one now. Boyes looking for Ramirez. Ramirez fields but does get beat. Big stop there by Podolski.
Ramirez almost getting the back-to-back, the stop and the goal. Unfortunately, could not get on the goal there. But Ramirez, another huge player. If you have just tuned in and just watching San Antonio for the first time, first-year player ever playing quad ball and is here on this top line for this top team.
Yeah, we had a chance to interview her on MLQ Replay a couple weeks ago. I really recommend checking out that video, just how much she's enjoyed her first year playing quad ball. But meanwhile, here we have Joe Goulet trying to get Minneapolis on the board. The first two games in their last series were extremely low scoring. It's hard to go low scoring against the San Antonio team. There's so many ways to do it. Daniel Williams zips a beat. Podolski's going to be beat out as well. No, it's going to be a miss there by Daniel Williams. Finally, Minneapolis has control, and Podolski's immediately looking to press. Hayden Boyes, though, is able to slow it down.
This beating game is getting fired up. There is athleticism on both sides of the ball here with Daniel Williams at the head of it. Absolutely making a great play. Unfortunately, misses the beat there, and only San Antonio goes with one dodgeball.
Boyes pumps once, going to slow it down now. Meyer comes out to meet now. Doesn't have to worry about Daniel Williams as much because of the lack of control. Narveson might have to do something about Kat Hay because Kat Hay gets her first goal of the series. 2-0 San Antonio. Like I said, 1 through 4, this line can score.
That is amazing. What an amazing shot there by number 5, Hay. Absolutely, the hoop was just wide open there from the Monarchs. Some sort of miscommunication there, and it was an easy goal for Hay.
Goulet going slow here. 1.5 run by Narveson. Daniel Williams gets around it. Meyer has to pass it back to Goulet. Goulet shits to rip a shot. Does so right over the arms of Hay, returning the favor.
We've seen Goulet saying, oh, you can make a shot. I can make a shot too. We saw Goulet. Goulet yesterday was also a fantastic seeker. Had 2 catches to get him back into each of the last 2 games in the series against Boston yesterday. Goulet starting out on fire here in this game 1 of this series.
We're just waiting for a ref call. Seems like one of the ARs might have seen something. All right, Goulet is called beat before. So Goulet is not on the board, and it is still 2-0 Soldados. But either way, a little bit better offense there for Minneapolis now they've gotten control.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what boys can do here, really try to keep this pressure up. They only have one dodgeball, though, on offense, so maybe try to keep it slow, get that dodgeball back, and then be able to put on the pressure.
Yeah. Both is beat out there as Max Meyer steps to Villa. Villa into the lane. Shot finally goes high, but just instant movement of Cadhe over to Izzy Ramirez. Goulet is able to get in the passing lane, though, and that is enough for Podolski to clean it up. Control does go back to San Antonio, but another stop for Minneapolis.
Another great stop from Minneapolis. That's what you want. You want to start, before it gets too ahead of them, they want to slow this down just a little bit and then be calm, cool, collected coming up on this offense. Get a goal, knock that goal differential in half, and stay in this game.
Yeah, we talked about how high-paced and score-happy the San Antonio team is, but this Minneapolis team just seems so good at slowing everybody down. Even though they trail 2-0, it's 4 minutes in, and we've not seen that high-level scoring. Goulet, though, has a pass tipped there by Hayden Boyce, and now Boyce looking to do exactly what I said they haven't been doing enough of. Dodgeballs that were on the ground. Goulet makes a wrap on Boyce. Narveson has to chase down the only dodgeball, though, for Minneapolis, and Avia goes right through everybody. 3-0 San Antonio.
You try to get the ball out of the hands of boys, just athleticism, just a right to go to Avila, just to take it all the way downtown and get the dunk to finish it through. There's just so many athletes here on the San Antonio roster that you get the ball out of one and you try to zone them out, it just goes right to another absolutely star.
Yeah, and Turn talks about roster depth. We have Matt Blackwood and Jay Stewart now subbing in, along with Moina Sosa and Alyssa Viaba. Just another stacked line out of San Antonio. Goulet staying in the game. Again, rips a shot. This time, there's not going to be any beat before, and Minneapolis is on the board.
Shooter's got us shooting. Goulet is on fire right now.
Goulet also just going to make a check there on Blackwood because there's no dodgeballs in the play yet again for Minneapolis. Jay Stewart fakes once, fakes twice, puts it right around Bitsy Archibald, and it is 4-1 San Antonio.
Talking about electric athletes, Jay Stewart tops it all off. Probably one of the most twitched up athlete in the MLQ. Jay Stewart, an amazing player to watch.
Ryan Mejio now into the game for Minneapolis alongside Terry Carlson. Ryan Cleary and Meredith McDowell now the beating pair for Minneapolis, and we still have the starters of Nunez and Daniel Williams, now up to about a 6-minute shift for that pair. Mejio patient up top. Kerry Carlson's going to be given a lot of space on the wing, but Daniel Williams and Nunez step to it, doesn't let him drive. Ben Zimmett in the game behind the hoops as Bitsy Archibald pops it back to Mejio. Terry Carlson once again is given a lot of space. Oh, tried to float one to Zimmett. It was Jay Stewart getting in the lane, but the bat just goes right back to Carlson. Now there's going to need to be a discussion about the beat, whether it came in time.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that beat will come back, but that is definition of right place, right time, as Carlson follows through with the pass and is there to just cradle the pass, the knockdown that came through, and be able to put it through from Zimmett.
And credit for this team for still having the energy to make hustle plays after what they played through in that quarterfinal into so late in the night. Obviously benefited a bit from the weather delay we had this morning, but yeah, obviously giving it their all. It would be such a feat if Minneapolis could not only make their first ever semifinal, but make their own first ever final. Terry Carlson's going to get credit for the goal. It is 4-2.
That is the perfect plays, perfect time, and the right timing goes for Carlson, and it's a good goal.
Still no subs in the beater game for San Antonio. Nunez and Daniel Williams bringing up their control once again. Patience here from Blackwood, letting his beater set up the play. Viaba's got the ball up top. Williams trying to get by McDowell, does beat her out of the play. Now clears the Met as the ball goes to Jay Stewart. Stewart has nobody to meet him right now because of Williams' pressure, and the hoop got turned, so Jay Stewart just had a shot from an angle you wouldn't usually have one.
If beaters could get goals, that's one on the board for Daniel Williams, number 0 for San Antonio. That was all created by Daniel Williams right there, creating that opening for the shot.
5-2 now. San Antonio starting to spread out their lead a little bit, but Minneapolis, again, the offense ticking a bit, which is what they're going to need to hang. As we said, you're never going to shut out the San Antonio team. They will get theirs. You have to find a way to get yours. Mejio in the lane looking to do just that. Jay Stewart rises from the ground, but a loose ball. Terry Carlson and Jay Stewart both chasing it down. All the dodgeballs are on the ground. We're going to have a call on the play. think it might be going against Carlson here.
It might be going against Carlson. It was a battle for the ball. It might be a shoulder to the back there on Jay Stewart. So we'll see if this call goes the Monarchs or the San Antonio way. But aggressive game. I like the mindset in terms of just trying to bring the physicality here to San Antonio. But unfortunately, the call might not go their way from the Monarchs here, which is not what you want when you're trying to close this 3-point gap.
Yeah, the sneaky thing about Jay Stewart when they defend the middle hoop is they're not very tall, but they have ups. So I think Mayhew just saw a wide open hoop, and then suddenly it was not a very wide open hoop.
Just suddenly the hands just popped out of nowhere and just absolutely snatched out of the sky.
Nice screen there by Villalba. No, Zemet's able to get around it. Really well done by Zemet. They called off Broom, but still stopped the fast break, so big play. Now Jay Stewart's going to try their luck. Gets it over to Villalba, and Ryan Mejio swarms through the defense. Same thing we saw last night. Ryan Mejio had such a huge defensive contribution down the stretch in that Boston series, doing it again there.
Yeah, 100%. Mejio is just great in the mind, looking for those zone blocks, absolutely, and he's been great with the drive and dish.
Mejio just running away from Daniel Williams to try to break this press here, and then all the way across, taking advantage of the fact that Williams is on an 8-minute shift, but unfortunately the beat finally does happen. It happens at midfield, the worst place it could. Jay Stewart, a great play by Archibald, who came flying back into the play just as Stewart was looking to pick out Blackwood.
Archibald coming out of nowhere. Blackwood saw the goal in his hands, and Archibald just absolutely shuts the door in front of Blackwood.
Yeah, 8-minute mark now here. Daniel Williams finally checks out. This is the time that things got a little iffy for San Antonio at times yesterday against Washington when that first beater pair that's been so dominant stepped out. It's going to be up to Javi Tijerina and Kyle Bryant to keep the momentum going. Zemet has the ball on the near side. Tijerina eats a beat from Ben Schluter, who just subbed into the game. Archibald has the ball up top in the middle, flanked by Mejio and Zemet. Beat there on Tijerina, but Podolski can't come up with a loose ball. Control stays. No, they do come up with the loose ball, so it is control to Minneapolis here. Let's see how they can use it. Long beat there by Tijerina. Podolski chooses to take an exchange. Ben Schluter's out of position, and Miguel Esparza's leading the fast break. Everything goes wrong at once there for Minneapolis, and it's a free goal to open up scoring for Miguel Esparza.
Just when Monarchs thought that they had enough of Jay Stewart, in comes Miguel Esparza, flying down the field, getting the pass and getting the goal. There's just so much star power here on the San Antonio line to create this fire offense that we are seeing before our eyes.
And you mentioned star power. Team USA's Luis Sanchez checks into the game. Wasn't here with the team yesterday, flew in overnight, now in at point. Zemet over to Mejio. And it's another great last-second beat from Tijerina, who's really cooking with only one dodgeball here against the two from Minneapolis.
Sanchez here now with the fresh legs, as you said, flying in here for day 2 for San Antonio.
Esparza bringing it up slow, almost 10 minutes in here, as Voth takes a beat from Tijerina. Tijerina just trying to make trouble here for Minneapolis, just trying to create chaos. Bryant's now beat out of the play. Schluter and Arvidsson staying conservative even against one beating opponent. Schluter does not see Tijerina's beat coming, but it's not going to cost him control. Voth cannot make a hit here on Esparza. Cadhay hits the lane over to Sanchez. Sanchez now looking to do the same. Pops it over the top to Esparza. Esparza's got to track it down before the boundary. Does so. Now looking to take on Zemet. Missed beat there by Schluter. Luis Sanchez and Miguel Esparza looking to go 2v6 here. And they do it! 2v6 and only 2 hoops to score on. Not enough to shut those two down.
That is Team USA play right there. 2 players, absolute legends, Sanchez, Miguel Esparza, creating magic here for the San Antonio offense.
7-2 now the score. A lot of these young San Antonio players looking for their first ever title in MLQ. Esparza and Luis Sanchez aren't looking for that. They just won another one. Zemet ball on the wing here. Pops it over to Mejio. Mejio, nice block on the beat there. It's going to be, no, it's not going to be, both beats miss. Pass over to Zemet. Izzy Ramirez goes flying out. Then Esparza does. Esparza's off broom. Voth just sitting on the far hoop. Zemet finds her. It's 7-3.
Wow, Zemet with an amazing cutback as Esparza goes flying. Zemet gained the space and then gained the pass off for the absolute amazing goal. Great job by Zemet there on an experienced Team USA player.
7-3 now the score. Mejio having Voth step over to Esparza. Voth does get a wrap this time. It's going to force Tiarina to make a choice. Tiarina now gets beat by Narveson. Esparza's beat as well. But nobody stepped to the player with the ball. So Luis Sanchez says, I'll handle this one myself. Rips a shot and puts it on the scoreboard.
Monarchs tried to get a hand on it, but Luis Sanchez just put a little bit of sauce on that one and fires it right through. Luis Sanchez making his presence known here and making the flight 100% worth it.
A little over 12 minutes now. Brandy Gomez subs into the game for the first time at beater alongside Chris De La Fuente. Schluter and Narveston still the beating pair for Minneapolis. Goulet back in the game trying to get by Sanchez. Rips that shot. Looking for that hoop all game. This one goes just a little high. Oh, but Meyer just lobs an alley-oop back the other way. There's not a lot of size right now on the field for San Antonio, and Joe Goulet made sure they knew that on that alley-oop.
Goulet has the Midas touch, not just for the flag runner, but also for goals just like that. The one hand just stuck to his palm and able to put it right down onto that small hoop.
Sanchez bringing the ball up. 4-goal lead here for San Antonio. They've led throughout. Minneapolis just trying to stick close. Miguel Esparza ripping again. It has been a shooting gallery for San Antonio. We've seen so many people. Sanchez ripped one. Cad Hay, Jay Stewart, Hayden Boys, everybody on this team. And now Miguel Esparza getting on the board with a shot there.
As we're getting to a 5-goal difference here, I think the Monarchs have to think about what their defense is doing here because we're seeing a lot of, as you said, a lot of these shots. The past couple offenses have just been shots. So what are the Monarchs going to do to counteract that?
Yeah, they've been sticking to this 2-2. Might have to think about changing that up depending on how this game continues. Meyer trying to get by Boys, but in the end just pops it over to Goulet. Goulet's given a lot of space here as Meredith McDowell runs all the way into the zone. Chris De La Fuente throws back. Goulet's shot blocked this time. Miguel Esparza is trying to save it. It's going to be called out, but there's also a foul coming, I think, in the beater game against Minneapolis.
Oh, that's not what you want. Again, Minneapolis, right when momentum might be able to shift in their way, they're getting these cards, which is so unfortunate from this Minneapolis team. But when you're facing especially a beater course such as San Antonio, some of these calls, some of those plays, you get caught up and you end up making a penalty.
So I think the call is actually coming against Sam Schwartz.
Ooh.
So an offensive illegal contact call. Schwartz must have been going for a screen. Did it through the back of a San Antonio player. She's headed to the box, which means that even though that shot was going off of San Antonio, I think it's going to be their ball.
Oh, man, that's so unfortunate. You're really trying to set these screens, which is what we were talking about yesterday for the Monarchs, really trying to utilize, especially on this Max Meyer line with Goulet and Max Meyer being able to rip shots, maybe trying to set a screen at the hoops, but again, just not able to set a good enough screen and a mistake there for the Monarchs. Huge mistake.
Yeah, and not going to make it easier to stop these shots from San Antonio with only 3 quad ball defenders.
And they're looking for a 2-1. Oh, they've switched back to a 1-2 on the defense now.
Yep. Goulet, though, eats a beat, which means Avia's going to get a shooting. No, Avia doesn't need a shooting opportunity because Hayden Boys came crashing on the far hoop. The 2-2 meant to take that pass away from Boys, but because it was a 1-2, nobody there to stop him.
Yep, nobody there to stop him, nobody for the step up, and Avila takes advantage of that.
Meyer now in the lane. Dodgeballs are out of the play briefly. Goulet never saw that pass coming, I don't think. And it's another stop here for San Antonio. They're starting to pull away here in this semifinal game 1.
Yeah, it looked like Goulet was maybe trying to set a screen there, but just miscommunication there in terms of what they wanted, and Max ended up going for the pass instead.
De La Fuente and Gomez have basically had control for their whole shift here. Avia back over to Boys. This pair has just been so dangerous all season long. Cleary gets beat, but dodgeballs are in chaos. Oh, but that's going to be a no dodgeball opportunity here. Max Myers trying to outrun Hayden Boys. If there's one thing Max Myers is always going to do, it's outrun you. We'll float it past easy enough, and Minneapolis gets a big goal there.
As fast as Boys is, Max has shown us that he is the fastest player in the league and shows it once again right there, able to outrun Boys and able to just roll the ball off of his fingers into the hoop.
Yeah, and the composure to just stop his momentum and let Hayden Boys go flying by before even trying to dunk it through.
Flying like a monarch, you might say.
You guys don't get to see his walk up, but he does fly like a monarch when his name isn't announced. Michael Elena Sosa there. Oh, it's going to be a press opportunity here for Minneapolis, but Chris De La Fuente does have the free beater McDowell wrapped up, so it's going to be briefly no dodgeballs. But now Minneapolis might get to run. No, Brandy Gomez is in the play. Max Myers running. I don't think he's noticed that Brandy Gomez has a dodgeball. Now notices Goulet.
Oh!
So Goulet's signature is the one-handed catch, but it let him down there.
Oh,
I have to be honest.
Man, as a coach, that if I see that, I'm yelling the two hands call.
A lot of people have said that to Joe Goulet through the years. Don't you worry.
Man, and then I would just show a clip of that and be like, two hands, man. Goulet wants that one back. Unfortunately, couldn't get the big paw on it.
10-5 now the score here. Matt Blackwood has the ball in the back corner from Sosa. Pops it all the way to Avia. Kind of a mixed line here now from San Antonio. Avia goes for that shot. Minneapolis is now starting to sit on these shots a bit more. And Max Myers out in front of the play again.
Oh.
This time, though, Chris De La Fuente gets back in time.
La Fuente with the amazing beat right there. Monarchs are really starting to knock down these shots. The past two that have gone past. Carlson and Goulet have been on the ball.
And Chris De La Fuente, another lazy pass. It's going to be a long shift for him. He might be getting a little tired. It's going to be another press opportunity. McDowell's going to now press on Villalba. Kick. Oh! The kick got through! Villalba, the distance kick! Oh, my God!
Oh, my gosh! San Antonio can just score. Goals just come to them. What an amazing kick there by Villalba. Oh, my gosh.
And I'll tell you, Villalba has made a career out of doing little things like that in the biggest moments.
In the biggest moments, putting 6 up, the largest lead that they've had here for San Antonio.
Mejio now has the ball in the lane. It is no dodgeballs here. Can Mejio make the most out of it? Podolski goes all the way and taps a hoop defender. Pass goes behind the Zemet. There is a hoop down. Goes back across. Chris De La Fuente missed again. I think De La Fuente really needs a sub at this point. He looks gassed.
Yeah, when you're gassed like that, you start to make mistakes.
So Mejio has no dodgeballs again. And this time just goes over Villalba, returns the favor.
The long arm of Mejio being able to take on 2 bodies and be able to put it through that small hoop. Mejio, an absolute all-star here this weekend, and it really shows it in there in that last offense.
11-6 the score here. Starting pair back in for San Antonio, Nunez and Williams. Blackwood taking their time, kicks it back to Villalba. Zemet steps high, gets a hand on it, but the ball does get to Sosa. Sosa not a shot this time, just a pass up to Avia. Avia, you know they want to shoot. Not sure if that was a pass or a shot, but I think either way, Mejio got the hand on the throwing arm and just forced a bad one.
Mejio has been a defensive threat here for the Monarchs, and again, gain another stop for the Monarchs to try to bring them back and claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, Mejio has always had the offensive physicality, the ability to drive, to shoot. They've really added so much defense to their game to make themselves a really more complete player.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
1.5 here being run by Podolski. Williams goes right around it, but again, a missed beat. No dodgeball again. Can Zemet convert? No, Zemet tries the shot. Villalba has the block. Mejio out jumps Jay Stewart. Gonna have to do it this time. No, Daniel Williams was there. Huge stop there from Daniel Williams and also from Villalba on the Zemet shot to begin with.
Wow, absolutely denying Mejio. Mejio definitely thought he had that one right there, but unfortunately just there to stuff it is number 20, Villalba.
Voth beat out of the play here. Oh, Jay Stewart I think that shot wasn't going in until it got tipped and it went right through the hoop. Another shot, and it's just these flat feet at the hoops that just keep killing the Monarchs.
Yep, just getting a little bit caught with your hands down, and as your hand's coming up, you tip it, even if it was going low. If your hand was already there, you could just slap it right down and collect it, but unfortunately got caught with the hands down and put it in your own hoop.
12-6 San Antonio looking comfortable here in game one. Are against the control of Podolsky and McDowell. That's another thing. San Antonio, whether Minneapolis has 2 or 1 dodgeball, just doesn't seem to matter much on the defensive side. It's going to be a 1.5 here from Podolsky. Daniel Williams goes around it again. Mejio gets wrapped hard by Luis Sanchez. Pass goes out of play. And it's going to be the 20-minute mark.
Oh.
A strong effort by one of the tournament favorites here. 12-6 going into the break. Minneapolis definitely had their chances, but I just think San Antonio took advantage of theirs more, and in fairness, they were a little easier because they hit a lot of shots. They didn't have to drive through an entire team time and time again.
Yeah, they didn't have to drive through, especially with that 2-2 defense. That 2-2 defense, you can really bring the physicality to the offense. However, you are opening up those lanes for the shots, and San Antonio has been absolutely ripping them today. We were talking about yesterday when we saw in the series against Washington, we were worried about teams that would have face off about San Antonio facing off against a stronger defense, and Monarchs put on a great defensive show against Boston, but San Antonio been able to pick them apart here and being able to put themselves a double score above the Monarchs.
Yeah, and we mentioned our concerns about San Antonio having so much depth, and how do you figure out how to get it all on the field? And it does feel like San Antonio is starting to pick out who their dogs are and who they're going to ride into a championship attempt run here. We saw that the quad ball lines are definitely a little shorter than they were on day one. We're seeing the real stars come out to play. But the stars that have to play huge minutes regardless, because there aren't that many female players on the roster, have been dogs all weekend. The likes of Yalba and Hay and Sosa have just been putting in huge and impactful minutes for this team all weekend.
Oh, 100%. Like that Hay goal, at the beginning of the game, was absolutely beautiful. Just the way that they're able to impose their presence here on the field on defense as well as offense. So kudos to the entire roster here for the San Antonio.
The Hay goal. How about the Villalba kick goal?
Yeah!
Sosa, I'm pretty sure, hit a shot as well in this game already. So yeah, they're all contributing in huge ways. And obviously with Luis Sanchez starting the flag runner period in green, can't underestimate his impact there either. Had a huge hit on Mejia on that last defensive stop.
Yeah, and I'm really liking it seems like San Antonio is really trying to test the waters in terms of their chemistry. We first saw Sanchez with Esparza, and now we're seeing Jay Stewart with Sanchez. So maybe just trying to check out, see as they go into the later parts of the game, what matchups seem really good, especially if you're looking towards the final series.
Yeah. John Alvarez starting for San Antonio in the Seeking game had one of their 2 catches yesterday. Christian Cortez, who subs in and out with him, had the other one. Joe Goulet starting for Minneapolis, huge catches last night, 2 of them in both of their wins against Boston.
He is handled under so much pressure, and he just handled it and caught it twice to finish off our series with Boston. Brought him right back into the game. Goulet, an absolute force to be reckoned with here for the flag runner.
Zeke Majeski tends to be the other seeker for Minneapolis, so both teams kind of do two-player rotations. They're going to be going up against Steven Tremple of that Boston franchise. Alex Amadal setting the stakes. The set score is 18. We've got a 12-6 game right now for San Antonio. And it's going to be San Antonio ball. Minneapolis does have control, but if they want to use it to try to turn it into a catch, they need to catch fast, because this San Antonio team, as we mentioned, can score in droves, especially if there's no beaters around.
Yeah, 100%. It's the San Antonio can get out of hand real fast.
Yeah, so Cleary's going to let Stewart go. So Stewart's just going to get no dodgeball opportunity here. Goes right over to Villalba. Villalba pumps once, tries a shot, goes high. Goulet's going to get their first chance here. Nice shove of Nunez. Nunez then gets beat. Meyer trying to get into the lane. Meyer rips a shot, goes wide.
Rained earlier here today, so the field, the turf, the ball, everything's just a little bit wet. So a very rare miss that we see from Max Meyer.
John Alvarez now going to get time alone. Nice bubble formed by his beaters. Alvarez wants to be sure that Joe Goulet is nowhere to be found before they go for any attempts. Jay Stewart tries a shot.
Oh!
A little passive right now on the offensive side. Jay Stewart literally just signaled over his bench, yeah, I get it. That is not the play that you want from me right there.
Wow. Mejio on defense with a huge outreach of the arm, being able to snag the shot that was for sure going in. Mejio again on defense.
Meyer,
stellar.
Sorry, Meyer goes behind. There's still no dodgeballs in the quad ball game. First goal scored in that quad ball game. Kind of wild to think about. Goes to Meyer there. Alvarez still getting a lot of time. Cleary misses another beat there. Tremple, though, handling him well right now. Cleary needs to get one on. Alvarez does so. And Joe Goulet's called before. Sock in hand. Meanwhile, Jay Stewart. Takes going high. It just goes low under Mejio.
I don't know how you can do like a cancel jump, but Jay Stewart did it.
And Christian Cortez subs in and on first move, pops the hands on Steven Tremple, dives low. The refs are going to have to talk about it. If it's good, pretty close to decisive here in this one.
Yeah, that was an interesting catch from Cortez. There might be an impede snitch call that could be called. However, we'll see what the refs have to say, but it was a very athletic catch there by Cortez, and if this is good, that's going to be super close, where they only need 2 more goals for San Antonio to go up game 1 in this series.
Yeah, and it would be really an all-around performance. Like we said, every player that stepped on the pitch for San Antonio made a contribution. This was not, we said that Boston-Minneapolis series was really driven by star moments. That's not how the San Antonio team played this game. This was a top-to-bottom dominant win.
Yes, a top-to-bottom dominant way. And what we saw with San Antonio against Washington was it was more leaning on their stars. But this game, they went home. They went to the hotel, looked at the film, had a team conversation, and they have come out with everyone firing on all cylinders.
Like we said, a franchise who has been in so many semifinals since becoming a team. These two teams became teams in the same year in 2019. Like we said, Minneapolis finally got to semifinals this year. San Antonio has been here a number of times. San Antonio wants to finally take that next step. So like we said, Cortez did pop the arms before they made that attempt. Flag runner said that the wrist was grabbed during that pop. It's going to rule off the catch.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Cortez and San Antonio, but San Antonio with dodgeball advantage here to continue in the flag runner period.
Yeah, still really hard for Goulet to find an opportunity here. Cleary just has to beat a rack away, which just allows Nunez to juggle his dodgeballs and get rid of Goulet in the process. Cortez more time here. Meyer trying to get through, trying to find someone to score on. Finally does. It's a goal for...
Max Meyer just went for a runaround as Jay Stewart jumped on top of him. Max Meyer then ran around to number 20, Villalba, and then continued around and then be able to put it through.
All right, so there's going to be a card on Stewart. I think I'm going to say it was stopped before Meyer's shot. So Meyer's going to have to do it again.
Meyer's going to have to do it again. Basically wore Jay Stewart as a backpack as he ran around. And he's going to have to put it through once again.
Sosa and Sanchez going to be the ones trying to stop him. Cody Narvison has checked into the game at beater. It's still Williams and Nunez in the beater game for San Antonio. And Meyer does finish that goal. Goulet, if Narvison can win this exchange, Goulet's finally going to get a chance. No.
Oh.
Narvison chooses not to throw. Daniel Williams just makes a hard one. Now, there it is. Cortez is beat out, and it is going to be a moment for Minneapolis. Joe Goulet is going to get a shot here. Oh, Joe Goulet is so close. Meanwhile, Sanchez pops it across the Soso, goes up to Jay Stewart. Stewart over to Ramirez. Sanchez now has it. Goes right around. Sam Schwartz finishes that. And Chris De La Fuente has the catch. Just give me a conversation, I think, about the beat. This time a catch, still would not be decisive. Would put San Antonio 1 goal away.
1 goal away. The beat might have come after. De La Fuente is calling it out loud here to the commentating table. But that goal by Sanchez just making it look super easy on the far side of the camera here, putting them up. And if this is good, only one goal away here in the semifinals for San Antonio.
Lengthy discussion. Like I said, I think based on the way it was caught, I have to imagine this conversation is just about the beat that everyone's saw.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a timing question.
Just going to be a timing question, just bringing the snitch over and everyone just getting a conversation, making sure there's no calls on the play as well that would overturn this catch if it is good.
Yeah, you want to make sure the call is correct.
We did see in that Boston-Minneapolis series a couple catches were taken away from Tremple. And
some series-ending catches.
Some series-ending catches were taken away from Tremple from cards that happened.
So De La Fuente is going to get credited with the catch. San Antonio is going to be one goal away. Minneapolis has to get 10 in a row here. Gotta imagine against the offense that San Antonio brings, it's going to be a tall task.
It's going to be a tall task, as it looks like Esparza is looking to get into this game, and Jay Stewart is looking to substitute.
I think it might be a press opportunity. No, I have to figure out where the dodgeballs are. I only see Daniel Williams' dodgeball. Oh, Max Meyer just running around the defense. Gets up top. Archibald's getting there, but Daniel Williams gets there. Oh, Daniel Williams, the catch off the beat. And makes another beat.
And then makes the tackle as well.
And now it's Jay Stewart going the other way.
Daniel Williams absolutely showing out here. Really wants to get this game one done and in the books. Daniel Williams putting it all out on the line. We'll have to see what our refs say if there might be some contact violation here for Daniel Williams on that last tackle. But absolutely, this beater, Daniel Williams, got it all. All the bells and whistles for Daniel Williams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked a lot about Havlin and Chu yesterday, but I mean, Daniel Williams, where their game is at this point in time, might be doing it better than anybody.
Even in the world,
yeah.
Like in the entire world, Daniel Williams might be the top.
It's definitely an argument to be made. Jay Stewart just handed the ball back to Minneapolis.
Jay Stewart knew what was going down.
Good sportsmanship there. We love to see it. So Sosa's headed to the box for contact from behind. Sam Schwartz is going to be given the ball. Does have the option for throwing back. Oh, no. Sorry. Schwartz is off brim. Ball's going to go all the way back to Meyer.
All the way back to Meyer, who's in the keeper zone for Minneapolis.
Iverson clearing out Sanchez. Mejio with the ball behind. Daniel Williams closing. Long pass to Schwartz. Schwartz the long shot. Can't get it to go. Daniel Williams just slows the ball down for Jay Stewart. Now, San Antonio looking to run down the field with game point on the table.
These athletic beaters from San Antonio really closing out the distance there. There was just long passes, but the San Antonio beaters are just too fast and being able to close up that time.
Esparza in the lane. Esparza over to Ramirez. I believe the goal is for Ramirez. I think it was a pass. Kind of a tough angle for me. Doesn't really matter. It is game, set, match.
Ramirez, the first-year player with an amazing didn't even hit the hands. Basically just slapped off the hands and just a push to go through the hoop and close out game number one.
Yeah, it was a feisty one. You know, Minneapolis gave a good fight, but San Antonio's skill and just high-level offense throughout the depth chart won out in the end. That's going to do it for game one for myself and Darren. We are going to throw it back over to our analyst desk. Want to hear what they have to say. Naresh, what did you think of that one?
Yeah, Ethan, I mean, this was kind of what I expected from the jump because oh, we're good? Okay, perfect. Sorry. Sorry about that. Ethan, yeah, thank you. This is what I kind of expected from the jump. I think immediately there was a talent mismatch. You saw how well rested San Antonio was. They came out with multiple lines, and within the first, 2-3 minutes, you saw Daniel Williams absolutely run the pitch, set the tone early, and you saw Hayden and that starting line be able to put up easy goals and get that 2-3 goal advantage and just rack up the goals from there. Ben, what did you see?
Yeah, Minneapolis had no answer for the Baltimore Nunez-Daniel Williams beating pair. I thought later in the game, Minnesota stabilized, Minneapolis stabilized. They both seemed a little more comfortable out there and also weren't playing against that beating pair. And Minneapolis has beaters that we really like, right? But they don't have anyone quite on the level of San Antonio's top pair. I thought once San Antonio got deeper into their depth, Minneapolis was able to match them, but not close the deficit. There was no point where it felt like Minneapolis was the better team. There were just points where it felt like it was about even, and points where it felt like San Antonio was the way better team.
Yeah, and I think when you're talking about the fact that potentially San Antonio's second, third string line is able to match what the Minneapolis starting line is going to do, that's where you start seeing those discrepancies pop up on the scoreboard. And I think that's where right now it just really feels like a massive mismatch. There were points on that pitch where I felt that San Antonio was just getting whatever look they wanted, whenever they wanted. And it was made even easier, especially when you saw, like I said, Daniel Williams running the pitch the entire time. Minneapolis, it felt like they were almost getting suffocated at points where they were trying to do too much. It was one person trying to play hero ball, trying to run through a lot of contact. And yeah, we talk a lot about the beater advantage in this scenario. The chasers were able to match the speed and athleticism that Minneapolis was able to throw. And San Antonio was playing some very good on-ball defense. So we'll have to see what adjustments get made by Minneapolis, if there are adjustments at all at this point.
I think they can change a little bit what they do. As long as Daniels and Baltimore Nunez are out there, they kind of have to play a contain style almost, where it's like, we need to not give up any bad turnovers. We need to drag the pace out, which is hard because Williams is going to try to speed you up. But it's a fine line between that, and you can't play scared either because Daniel Williams is going to eat you if you're scared. So their beaters have to be willing to throw. They have to be willing to change. We saw near the end of the game there during flag runner and pitch, Joe Goulet was there. There's a Minneapolis beater there, and Daniel Williams is there. Doesn't have a partner. His seeker is nowhere in sight. And Joe Goulet didn't get a chance because the Minneapolis beater just waited and waited and waited and never threw. And then when Daniel Williams does throw at Goulet, the ball bounces right back to him. So nothing is created. The seeker doesn't get a chance. You have to throw, and if he catches, he's going to catch some of them, but you're going to get some chances if you're willing to throw, if you're willing to exchange. So they just have to try to match it as best as they can, and then they have to make hay when they're out of the game. They cannot go even against the San Antonio third line. They have to go plus, probably majorly plus against that group. But San Antonio's been smart about that. When it's the third beater group and who maybe isn't the strongest top beater group, it's Miguel Esparza out there who can give some scoring punch even without being helped, right? So it's a tall task for Minnesota. Minneapolis, they have a very physical defense, which I think they can lean on, but they have to put points on the board. They were really reliant on Joe Goulet shooting into really tight windows, which Joe Goulet can do. I don't think he should stop doing that, but there has to be somewhere else they can go for offense because they need to come up with more than 6 goals in 20 minutes.
Absolutely. So for these next games, we'll have to see if that discrepancy, because I think the final score ended up being 185-80. We'll have to see how Minneapolis comes out. Before we get to that game too, currently we have the Titans warming up against Chicago. Ben, we didn't get a chance to talk previously about the series. How do you expect the game 2 to go? What adjustments do you see happening?
So New York, I think, must have just been bewildered when they walked off the field because they were in control of the game at 20 minutes. They have a very odd sequence that leads to an immediate flag runner grab for Chicago, and then they fell apart. It was a 5-1 Chicago run to end the game. New York couldn't get any offense going, which they've been able to do with some consistency during the first 20 minutes. Neither team ultra efficient in the half court, but New York, I think of their 8, had 3 transition goals and then strung together 5 half-court goals throughout the 20 minutes. Couldn't get anything going in that last bit there. And it seems like kind of the thing we've talked about on MLQ all season. That first line, despite all the talent, really struggles to put up points. And I thought, again, in the middle of the game, when they got into the depth, we saw Byron Ng, Shakti Kodiswaran, Annika Kim, Mike Lee coming off the bench, who do a lot of good stuff in their minutes. New York might just want to shake it up. That starting line can still start, but they can also, instead of going from line 1 to line 2, do more splitting. I thought when they were Leo Freed playing with people besides John Jackson looked better than Freed and Jackson together, and that will open up Jackson to beef up some other lines, right? Just splitting up a little bit could get them some more scoring punch. On Chicago's side, though, they must be thinking, we won that game, and Darren Mersagelis got a red card 2 minutes into the game, and he was one of, if not the leading scorer for them in the quarterfinals. So I think they feel great heading into this match. Like, let's just not grab another red card and we should be able to close this out.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Ethan earlier about it, where we've made that joke about, I didn't know Darian was on this team the entire summer. And then, yeah, they didn't even need him for game 1. But Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I love the fact that Chicago, again, we were talking about it earlier, they were playing their depth, and it looks like they trusted their depth. And I think the biggest thing is, in Boston, when they needed to close out, New York needed to close out, they went to a Leo and Byron line. The fact that we didn't see a Leo Byron get back on the field with Lindsay and Annika, or Lindsay and Anna Blanchfield, and so on and so forth, it's very weird, I think, to not put out the lines that are giving you the most consistent looks, because I think the biggest thing from what I've seen from New York, and this has been my complaint for the past 2 seasons or so, 3 seasons now even, where if a team is able to match your athleticism, what is your answer? And right now, that starting line does not have an answer, because no one on that starting line is able to consistently get off-ball looks, where it's very reliant on on-ball ability to beat the point defender, or try to be just superiorly physical. And if they don't have that, if you have a team that can match that, where else is you coming from? And that's where I think Janko Gavizenovic made a massive difference for this team, because you saw the amount of cuts he was able to make on that starting line, and without him, you're not seeing that. And that's why I think this second line of Byron, Shakti, Annika Kim, and Anna Blanchfield is making that difference. That's why we're seeing them be a bit more successful, because they're moving in and out of these spaces, manipulating the space that they are taking to be able to get that consistent look. So we'll have to see how New York comes out. Like we said, we saw this earlier in 2023 where they got punched in the face, but they were ready to go for game 2. But again, Chicago is a much more experienced team, and it's like you said, they probably are a tad more confident, no pun intended, about how they'll come to operate game 2. So with that and more, we'll be back in just a bit. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Welcome back to MLQ Championships 2025. Game 2 of the semifinals, New York Titans versus Chicago Prowl. Prowl leads 1-0 after an exciting Game 1. Win here sends Prowl through to the finals for the 3rd year in a row and sends the Titans home. A Titans win would force a 3rd and final game in this series.
A lot on the line in this game, too.
Ben Mertens and Melinda Stop on the call. Almost the same starters for both teams. Tad Walters starting in place of Mad Brown for the Prowl. Brooms Up is called. Darian Mersick-Ellis wins the ball without issue this time. And Chicago will get the first look here. They have a chance to run here too, but they're going to pull back. Vincenzo Chico buys enough time for his teammates to assemble, and now it's control to the Titans.
Showing New York that they're willing to push the pace early if needed.
Ball goes back up top to Andrews. Dodgeball is passed to Walters. Andrews sends it over to Murphy. Murphy's going to go deep, but over the head, and that is going to sail out of bounds. So a bit of an unforced early turnover from Chicago.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have liked something to come out of that, but early on, just seeing what adjustments New York has made in their defense and feeling them out.
So Murphy unable to find Ariana Zhang there. The ball is now in the hands of John Jackson for the Titans as they get their first chance on offense. Chico and Rosenberg with control for the Titans. Rosenberg and Walters get tangled up.
Going at it.
Rosenberg is on the ground. Chico's going to come help out. Walters catches the dodgeball, though, then beats Rosenberg, so this will turn into... No, Walters is called beat, and there's a hand raise for a foul.
That might be the foul for playing after the beat. That definitely affected the play there.
The ball is in Potter's hands. Now to Lindsay Morella. She's got some space. She's going to try to pass to Fried. It's too high. Fried recovers it, though, runs it down. Another shot is over the top of the rim. And Molly Potter chases it down, but now will have the stoppage.
This is, certainly a Tad Walters foul for playing
Tad
after
Walters
the beat
is
there.
walking to the box
yeah,
already.
he knows.
Net contact is the call against Walters. So New York will get another shot at it here. That'll turn control back over to the Titans. So this is going to be a quick chance here.
Noyes Astra alone on the prowl with the dodgeball.
So New York's going to slow it back down a little bit, reset their offense, but they have numbers in their favor. Whoa! Astra beats Morella. Morella's shot looked like it went in, but was called beat before, but Leo Fried's going to have a shot at it. Goes to Jackson, who's going to muscle through Mersick-Ellis, and no doubt about the second one. New York is on the board.
I don't think anyone was ready for Morella's shot right there. She kind of took the Prowl by surprise, and I think a lot of people on the sidelines by surprise with that shot as well. She hadn't been beaten out. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, and Murphy was right there to deflect it. I think just wasn't able to get enough on it to deflect it out. It still went through, but called beat before. New York does end up with the goal. They're up 1-0. And Prowl regained dodgeball control in the scrum at the end of the play there. Walters beats Rosenberg and is going to go right in to try to create an opening. Beats Morella. Riley Andrews dancing around, thinking shot. Mersick-Ellis can't handle the pass cleanly, though. That was a goal. Mersick-Ellis recovers it, goes back to Andrews. Andrews blocks the beat, but the ball just pops right to John Jackson, who's now going to try to run. Noyes Astra relays back to Walters. No one knows John Jackson is there. Tad Walters never saw him. John Jackson gets an easy goal. Total miscommunication from the Prowl there, trying to relay the dodgeball back, not realizing that John Jackson was about to score.
Prowl coming out a little quiet after their dominating second half win in that first game. All the energy is all New York in the first few minutes of game 2.
And right on cue, we see Matt Brown coming into the game. That Nathan Digman, Justin Cole, and Liam Zock coming into the game as well, along with Overholt. Control with the Prowl. Brown, by far the most aggressive beater on the squad, knocks Chico out. Now just dodgeballs everywhere. Digman is going to go and rip a shot. It's through.
It did go through.
Refs initially disagree, but that is called good. And the aggression of Matt Brown and the composure of Nathan Digman get the Prowl on the board.
That's a dynamic duo that we've been seeing for years, and it works so well.
Rodriguez, helpful for the Prowl as well on the other side of that play, gave Brown some space to work.
Absolutely.
Ball goes to Potter. She's going to go side, and they've kind of let Molly Potter get closer. Now Matt Brown pump fakes, but he turns his head. Potter can go, and she is going to go, and she rips it, and she makes Chicago pay.
Potter with some shots last game. They weren't quite on target, but they're going to have to start respecting Potter with the ball in her hands, or she's just going to keep doing that to them.
Yep, they'll have to think about either having the keeper get more involved or have Brown actually like really step up and commit there. Ball goes across to Zoc. It's a 3-1 lead in New York's favor. Back to Digman. Devin Lee is beat. Nice beat there. Digman's got space to move.
Oh,
Gonna
unfortunate.
get through. No, Jackson has one arm pinned, so Digman shoots and it's high. No,
Oh.
it's called good.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's gonna get quickly overruled.
I didn't see a ball go through the hoop on that one. A lot of people out here are kind of saw the same thing. Not sure what Chris LeCompte saw there, but
I think Nathan Digman isn't even trying to argue the ball through. I think he's complaining about the contact from Jackson. I don't think anybody except Chris LeCompte thought that goal was good.
and we do see that near hoop down, and it was open. Unfortunately, May Overholt for the Prowl getting into offensive position knocked that over on her own. So that had been an open hoop for the Prowl to shoot on until that happened too. So.
Yep. And Digman almost able to get past Jackson, but not quite able to totally shake free, so had to pull that one. New York's coaches would really like to know what the call is, I think.
Assistant coach Harold Advincula for the Prowl and Jacob Ehrlich for New York.
Yeah. Play is called no
Listening
good, as we suspected, but Liam Zoc could track the loose ball down, so Prowl will get another chance at it. And the stoppage might work out in Chicago's favor because now that hoop will be reassembled. So they'll be back to working on 3 hoops here.
Jacob Ehrlich here now talking to
The coaches for
another coach.
New York both pretty animated here.
Not sure what the discussion could be about here. Frank Minson talking with the ARs. Coach Ehrlich speaking with head referee Chris LeCompte.
Here comes Chicago again. Control is still with the Prowl, so they should get another shot here. Rodriguez working on the right side against Chico. Matt Brown pulled way out wide. Digman has some space. Going to go across the dock. Molly Potter intercepted.
Deflected.
Molly Potter has
She's
a
got room
breakaway.
to run.
He can't cleanly handle the ball, though, and eventually is beat. But Leo Freed just picks it up and hits John Jackson, who made his way all the way to the hoop and easily lays it in.
Oh, what a scramble. And good for John Jackson for making that run all the way down and making sure he was open. Chicago Prowl, I know it was chaotic, but they've got to get back on defense.
Yeah, just pure hustle from Leo Freed to rip that ball away, which should have been Chicago's by all accounts. Kennedy Murphy at the controls now, trying to stabilize for her Prowl.
Justin
Looked a
Cole
little
in
out
the
of
game.
sorts to open here. Crowd favorite Justin Cole sends it back up to Murphy. Across to Digman. Digman's got some room now. Going to go back up to Murphy. Jackson is going to aggressively meet her. She manages to get it to Justin Cole, who's just going to send it deep, and Overholt is immediately beat.
Chicago Prowl just struggling to get anything together on offense so
This
far.
is the best stretch of beating I think we've seen from the Titans in this series.
Absolutely. That combo of Lee and Chico, unmatched.
Leo Freed brings it deep, but eventually sends it back up to Jackson. Can't quite handle it clearly. Digman's going to try to pressure Jackson. Nearly gets him across the line, but Jackson spins free. Eventually dishes off to Morella. Leo Freed is open, but this is intercepted by Justin Cole. Cole is beat, though, by Chico, so Leo Freed picks it up, and it's another chance for New York.
Ooh.
Freed called clear. Beat before the second beat came in and got Freed just in time.
Yeah, Matt Brown missed that first one, but he was not going to miss that second one.
Absolutely. Sol Alexander enters the game for the first time alongside Brown. Saw a lot of successful moments out of this pair in game one, and they have control.
In the
4-1
chaos.
our score.
In the chaos, they were able to regain control.
And we're going to go back to that first group of Riley Andrews, Darian Mersick Ellis, alongside Kennedy Murphy. Back across to Murphy. Back to Mersick Ellis. Deep to Andrews. All the way back up to Mersick Ellis. Just a little pitch and catch here, trying to force New York to do something to commit. John Jackson is going to tip that pass, but Mersick Ellis manages to come up with it. A missed beat. Now Mersick Ellis is going to go and make some space, rip a shot, and hit it from pretty close range.
The Prowl will need DME to really be a presence here in this game if they're going to stay in it. He was red carded out of that last game. They were able to manage without him, but it's looking like they're going to need a big presence on offense this game.
And Minneapolis is consistently able to win one-on-one at a higher level than any player really on either team, as long as there's no beaters to worry about, able to beat almost any defender one-on-one and eventually find the goal as he did there.
We have a stoppage of play.
Yeah, not sure what's being discussed here, but 40-20 our score. All right, so no call. So it's 40-20, New York in control. Dodgeball's in the hands of the Prowl, though. Lee will have the only one for New York. As Ing brings the ball up.
Chico working on Alexander behind the hoops.
A lot of space for Ing here. I think was thinking shot, but it was pretty wide.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he had the angle for a shot there, but it looked like it could. If someone was cutting to that hoop, that would have been a good opportunity.
Rushes back into the play for New York, manages to cut off a fast break attempt. Control is still with the Prowl, though. We saw them use that to great effect last time. Ellis overlapping cut towards the backside here. Gets it in the well. Just goes right back up top of the Andrews. They got to be careful with those low passes, though. Andrews dancing, shooting high off the top of the rim. So Prowl gets the look they want, but Andrews not able to knock it home.
Just a little off target there, but.
And, you know, that was kind of the story of game one, but in the other way was New York just missed a couple shots that I think they thought they should have had, and then that kept the score close enough for Chicago to flip the script. This one, Chicago not kind of with some of the looks that they'd like to have.
Yeah, Chicago is up one game, but truly this series could go either way at this point.
Kim has the ball, and again, Riley Andrews is staying pretty close to the far side of the field rather than tracking Kim aggressively. And it does eventually go to Blanchfield. She's now going to send it to Cody Swarin. It's deflected by Riley Andrews. Darian Ellis comes down with it, so a bit of a sloppy pass from New York is pretty easily intercepted by Chicago there.
Mike Morawick on the field now for Chicago.
Here comes a screen on Cody Swarin, but Ellis isn't going to take it. Going to stay patient. Now sends it behind to Andrews. Andrews thinking. Has some space now with his beaters there to assist. Has a little more room. Andrews draws that beat and gets it to Kennedy Murphy. She's going to have to beat Annika Kim. She does so and goes all the way back up to Ellis. So no real result there for the Prowl. So Alexander manages to pump fake so aggressively that TK lets go of their partner. Now no dodgeballs. Here's Ellis again.
Wrapped up.
Brought down by Cody Schwartz, and a beat is made. A hand is up for advantage, and I guess it's going to be some sort of contact penalty.
It looks like maybe contact from behind. Oh, okay.
So I said Cody Schwartz got net contact, got a little high on tackle. Unfortunate, because that was some good defense being played there by Cody Schwartz against a really hard chaser to stop in Ellis.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chicago got dodgeballs on the ground that opened the lane up for DME, and unfortunately, the net contact was the result.
So it resets to Riley Andrews. Control is still with the Prowl. Titans will have to defend down a chaser here. Here's Andrews on the far side. Dancing with Byron Ing. Goes for the stiff arm, and Ing rips it down and I think forces Andrews out of bounds. No, play is still going. A high pass to Ellis, who finishes, but is called beat before. A terrific pass from Ariana Zhang, but Ellis beat before. Chaos in the dodgeball game at midcourt. TK rips a beat and misses. It
Control
flies
still
off
with
pitch.
Chicago.
Multiple hands raised from the referees.
Control still with Chicago at this point. I have a feeling that will change here in a moment.
TK was trying to take somebody's head off with that beat, and instead it just flies out of bounds. So it's Sol Alexander who picks up the yellow card for an illegal wrap in that scrum that we saw near mid-pitch.
Yeah. You really get the feeling TK was sick of not having dodgeball control and said, now is my time.
And will, due to the foul, end up with it, I believe. One ball should get turned over to Chico, I guess to K. Other ball is placed on the out-of-bounds line, so K can, if they want, just relay this back to Chico because the quad ball is in the hands of the Titans.
Yeah. Everything looking to go the Titans' way this drive.
Michael Merrick has the one dodgeball for Prowl, but Byron Ing is there, so if Merrick tries to get too cute in the dodgeball game. Yeah, so eventually TK will get to relay the dodgeball back and come up with the third ball. Ing rips a shot.
They're calling that Titans ball due to a deflection
I think it got deflected, yeah.
from the Prowl on that shot attempt.
I've seen Byron Ing hit a half-court shot before, so a really high pass is not going to be run down in time by Blanchfield, so that's a turnover in the end. So New York does get, Chicago does get the stop.
What a waste. So disappointing to see coming from New York on that power opportunity.
New York going to try to quickly force a turnover. Merzick Ellis, I think, was very close to the line there, but managed to save it.
That was very close to a turnover on Chicago's side as well.
So both teams a little uncomposed here.
If I'm coaches for either side, I'm saying take a breath. Let's play our game.
Whichever team can calm down is going to have an advantage here because they're both just a little helter-skelter right now. Here comes Murphy.
Everyone desperate
Big exchange of beats. Murphy's going to go. She dodges a beat. No, the ball is loose. It gets to Merzick Ellis, who has a chance to run, and gets the poke and goes right through Annika Kim, who ducks out of the way of that one.
This is ending a drought, a scoring drought for both sides. For the last 2 or 3 minutes now, we've been scoreless in this game, and DME takes matters into his own hands.
So this gets to 40-30 and shades a bit of game 1 where New York was able to get the lead to 3, but then not continue to extend it, and Chicago gets right back to it only being a 1-goal game. Ing sends it behind to Kim. She has a shot if she wants it. It's just a little high. Blanchfield tries to shoot too. It hits Kennedy Murphy in the face.
Whatever it takes.
It's a turnover. Kennedy Murphy passes off to Digman. Now Digman has a chance to run. TK is in the play.
Assistant ref
But
is saying
Digman is
blue ball,
thinking
blue
to pass
ball, blue
Merzick Ellis.
ball.
Merzick Ellis blocks the beat. No, is called beat.
Some confusion on that last interaction. We had the near side AR saying blue ball, blue ball, blue ball, but it seemed like they were talking about the dodgeball.
The chasers thought it was about the quad ball.
Yeah, so New York effectively gave Chicago the quad ball on that drive.
Shakti Cody Schwarin got a blue card for unsportsmanlike conduct. It looks confused about what they did to earn that card.
And the AR did put their hand up shortly after that that quad ball
Dodgeball discrepancy.
Yeah. So there might have been something that they said.
Out of frustration about that. Maybe,
yeah.
So
who knows
blue
at
card
this point?
Cody
But
Schwarin to the box, but is not a quad ball turnover. So it is control and quad ball to the Titans here. They're down a chaser. And we see Isaac Cerna-Diaz and Christian Barnes into the game at beater for the Titans. Saw a lot of this pair in game 1.
and they did very well in game 1.
Goes behind to Blanchfield. She bobbles it a little bit, but gets it back to Ing. A big rush from Matt Brown. The ball rolls all the way across half court, but I think because it was forced by the beat by Brown, New York's allowed to recover it.
Sol Alexander.
Matt Brown throws one back, throws another one back. Almost catches Christian Barnes' beat. Molly Potter turns on the Jets, gets to the hoop. Merzick Ellis tips it out of bounds, but that should be
Chicago ball
no,
turnover
it's
here.
Chicago inbound. Gets it ahead to Digman. Digman can shoot here if he wants to, but there are 2 beaters, so he'll pull it back out. Digman to Murphy.
Some scrappy defense on the Chicago side.
A lot of blocked shots in this series. It's just tough to get past both of these defenses. Digman goes behind to Merzick Ellis. Big beat from Matt Brown. Merzick Ellis is going to try to go off of that and freezes Leo Freed with a bit of a head fake and hits another shot. So Merzick Ellis making their impact felt in this game. We are tied at 40.
We have some conversation going on in the dodgeball game as well.
It's a chance for New York here. No dodgeballs in the play for the Prowl, which is what Matt Brown was upset about. Big alley-oop from John Jackson to Leo Freed, and when it works, that play is a beauty.
Yeah, Chicago just a little out of sorts, transitioning back on defense there, and it cost them.
Matt Brown was certain that they should have a dodgeball out of that interaction back there. Didn't get one. Meanwhile, the third ball is all the way out of bounds. New York seizes on the chance to run and reclaims the lead 50-40.
Tad Walder's back in the game now.
Ball goes across to Justin Cole. Another stall warning to Chicago. Haven't seen a stall card yet in the series, but about 18 warnings. Kenny Murphy's shot is ripped down by John Jackson. Jackson can push again. Just going to have to beat Liam Zock. Gets it to Leo Freed, and it's another easy goal for the Titans.
For Leo Freed.
2 quick transition chances for the Titans put them back up 20 after Chicago had really managed to fight back and tie the game.
Yeah, it looked like Justin Cole ran into someone trying to get back on defense, maybe a referee, and that kind of took him out of the play. And no, it's hard to keep up with Leo Freed. Camila Gomez with an amazing catch in the dodgeball game.
Well done to catch Serna Diaz's beat, though. Serna Diaz was just trying to burn one of the dodgeballs, but instead they come up with the grab there.
Excuse me, Camila Rodriguez.
Camila Rodriguez and Michael Morawik in at dodgeball as the beater pair. Control is with that Titans pair of Barnes Serna Diaz. Exchange of beats. Digman fakes the handoff, goes to Justin Cole. Cole rips a shot. The bank is open on Sunday, but John Jackson is going to run for the 3rd time in a row. Beats Liam Zock, tries to pass to Freed, but misses. But Kenny Murphy can't get the loose ball. Freed still has it, lobs it back up to Jackson. Fakes once, shoots. That time it's good. So 3 transition goals in a row for the Titans.
The Titans just catching Chicago on their heels that time. They were able to get their goal, but didn't get back on defense in time.
70-50 now the score. The Titans put it back to 2. Murphy handling the ball.
We have Noyes Osser in the game now.
I haven't seen as much Osser in this game as in game 1. Chico rushes Andrews. Andrews has it all the way back to Murphy. Murphy's also beat. The ball hits Chris LeCompte, but it's just going to end up in New York's hands. Here comes Molly Potter. She goes across to Mike Lee. Mike Lee bobbles it a little bit and misses Ryan Leary on what would have been a gimme goal. Leary, though, goes for the pass to Freed. Freed is brought down hard by Andrews. I think they're going to say Andrews wrapped Freed before Freed landed or before Freed actually had the ball.
Yeah. They're going to call Andrews on that for sure. And you start to wonder, when is the timeout coming for Chicago?
Yeah.
They need to right this ship as we enter the intermission.
It's gotten a little bit out of control for both teams at different points in this game.
We'll see the call here as Chris LeCompte is coming back.
So only a yellow card this time. That was a similar play to the one that got Mercick Ellis red card in game 1, but Andrews just called for an illegal wrap.
I think the difference being the receiver being on the ground versus in the air.
They wrapped Freed before Freed actually had the ball, not that Freed was hit in the air. So it's just a yellow. Riley Andrews is sent to the box, and we'll see if New York can capitalize on this and push the goal to 3. And as
there's
the timeout, Chicago takes the timeout.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, Ben.
Both teams have been very fired up when the other team takes a timeout because all the timeouts in the series have come when one team is really going on a run. So the Titans bench really excited that Chicago was forced to call the timeout.
Forcing a timeout against another team is, you got to be proud of that. It means you're doing something right, and the other team is scared, and they've got to fix something. The question will be, how does New York come back out now, and are they going to be able to handle whatever Chicago changes?
And we're in a pretty similar spot to game 1. New York currently up 2. They're hoping to push it to 3 here off the power play. But holding on to a narrow lead as we creep up on 20 minutes. Same story last time. New York was up 20, and then that quick grab from Chicago powered them into a dominant post-flagrant iron pitch second half. So New York, I'm sure, feels good about where they're at, but the conversation has to be, we have to play a complete game. Let's get the lead to 3 or 4 instead of just 2. Then even if we don't get the grab, we're still in the lead, and then we've got to finish the game.
Absolutely. They've been up 2 for a little while now. They're just trading goals back and forth, but like you mentioned, as we saw in game 1, that's not going to be enough if they allow Chicago to get a grab, or if Chicago is able to get a grab.
And for Prowl, the conversation just has to be no more fast breaks. New York's literally had 3 in a row here.
Yeah, getting back on defense is crucial. They're going to getting the ball through the hoop, of course, but sending it far. Don't let New York just pick up that ball and run. That's got to be part of the conversation too.
Both teams headed back out onto the field now. So Leo Fried will have the ball pretty
close to the hoops.
Bunch of Prowl chasers there. Molly Potter's open for a pass across. Noyce Ostra is deep in the backfield behind the hoops there with Chicago's dodgeball. So we'll see what Fried wants to do here. I think Mike Lee is just going to try to shove Kennedy Murphy out of the way.
I
and
believe.
Fried's going to go right for the small hoop. Justin Cole gets there, so Fried just changes directions, easily lays it in through the top hoop. 80-50 now the score.
And we'll see how Chicago responds here. They, that was a pretty cut and dry play. We'll see what they do on offense after that timeout.
Chicago definitely wants the goal here, down 3. Goes across to Murphy. Molly Potter goes out to just lay a hit on Murphy, but Murphy just sends it right back to Cole. Cole sends it deep to Andrews. Andrews has some space here. Lee eventually slides over, so it goes back up top to Cole. Now to Murphy. Very patient from Chicago. Dodgeballs are on the ground. Here comes Andrews with a chance to finish, but Mike Lee cuts off their drive.
Middle hoop down.
Andrews with a pass to themselves.
Looked like they momentarily believed Osra was a quadball player.
And now Andrews goes all the way across to Justin Cole. It's a nice press break from Chicago here, but the Titans still have control.
Oh.
And Justin Cole eventually just passes the ball to nobody. But I think
they're going to call Fried on the hit on Overholt here, I believe.
And just no reason for that from New York. You want to, be physical, make hustle plays, but Devin Lee was right there.
Yeah, there's
zero
no
reason for that.
Prowl
Even
players
picks up
around.
the ball, all the other Prowl chasers are beat. There is nothing that's going to happen there. You can pull it back just a little bit. A bad foul is going to save this possession for Chicago. So bad mistake from New York there.
Unfortunate because, the turnover is so close to the midline there is certainly not what Chicago wanted out of that first drive coming out of the timeout. And that could have been another fast break opportunity for New York. And instead, it's staying with Chicago. Head coach Kennedy Murphy confirming that May Overholt would be able to pass over the midline without turning the ball over here as she's surrounded by New York.
The high percentage call, but she could, turn around and just rip a shot on the tall hoop.
That would be fun.
You never know.
Keep them guessing.
Overholt just takes it back over the line, which is allowed off a stoppage like that. So Chicago will go back to work at full strength. New York down a chaser now. Control is still with the Titans in the hands of Lee and Chico, who've been much more of a problem for Chicago in this game than they were in game 1. And hoop gets knocked over again.
The crowd is upset because that came from Molly Potter, and it did look accidental, but coming from the defending team is not what you want to see.
Ball's on the ground. Andrews high pass to Justin Cole, who fakes.
Justin Cole with the pump fake.
Justin Cole has been money off ball behind the hoops all day for Chicago. And I'm pretty sure every single time Justin Cole has hit a shot, it's managed to be a bank shot.
I mean, doing whatever it takes here, Justin Cole putting the work in.
New York is back to full strength after the goal. Leo Fried subbed out for Byron Eng. Mike Lee bringing the ball up now for the Titans. It's 80-60. Which was the exact score at 20 minutes of game 1. Lee goes back to Potter. Here comes Devin Lee trying to make something by beating out Kennedy Murphy. Potter's thinking, shot, and Mercick Ellis read it the whole way.
Potter's been making a name for herself this series and honestly her career on taking control in her own hands. But DME knows her and he knows that what she's capable of and saw that one coming.
Chicago's players always read the scouting report. Mercick Ellis sends it to Justin Cole. Control with the Titans. We're at 19 minutes, so coming up on that 20-minute stoppage again. Here's Mercick Ellis.
Aggressive play in the dodgeball game.
Dodgeball control turns over, which is big for Prowl this close to the 20-minute stoppage. Here comes Cole. Finds Murphy.
She had the shot there for a moment.
Would have had to be an immediate release.
Instead,
Murphy's beat.
Yeah.
But Mike Lee's out of the zone, so Matt Brown should be able to save this.
Okay.
Oh!
My goodness.
Byrding dives for it and sends it sailing behind the hoops. Kennedy Murphy turtles on it.
Molly Potter there. Just giving it everything she has, but, you know, Anna Holmes and Darian Mercick-Ellis there to assist.
So the eventual result of all of that is that the Prowl still have the ball and still have dodgeball control. And that's going to help them run out the time on this last play here.
This will be the last play before the 20-minute intermission.
All right, so we have an untimed possession here. This will be the last one before the 20-minute stoppage. 86 the score. Prowl would love to get one more goal here.
Bring it to 1 point.
But Prowl might love more as a chance to win dodgeball control back here.
And we do have a stoppage.
Yeah, AR had a raised hand on the sides here. See what the call is.
The Prowl entered into this drive with dodgeball control. Unfortunate that they lost it so late in the first half, because
that last possession, you do not want to give up control. Tough.
That's going to be Anna Holmes.
Yep, got a screen for a card for illegal back contact, trying to set a screen there. So it's a yellow card, which turns the ball over to Titans, ends the possession, and brings us the 20-minute stoppage. So
Chicago going into the second half without dodgeball control and down a chaser.
Right, so we're at the exact same score as game one, 80-60 in New York's favor, but this time Prowl without control and down a chaser, and control was big for the Prowl.
That was huge
in that
for
quick
Prowl.
catch that they got in game one. So we'll see if game two is a different story here. And I do see that Leo Freed has the yellow headband on. I think that's who the Titans want here at Seeker.
New flag runner this game. We'll see if that has any effect.
Definitely a different matchup just in terms of stylistically versus the flag runner we had in the last game. 80-60 still the score. New York is going to have I assume they're not going to run right away because they want to wait till the beaters pull over into the flag runner game. But once that happens, New York will be up a chaser, which makes it very easy to score in flag runner pitch with the beaters committed to the flag runner. You're already up a player. There's no dodgeballs in. So New York should wind up with a goal there and push the lead to 3, I'm sure is what they're talking about in this huddle.
Yeah, that's what I would expect to see. And that would already be a change from game one, where they came into the second half and didn't score for a long time.
Chicago sending some staff over here, I think, to relay what's going on to their beaters and Seeker.
I've seen them do that a couple of times this weekend already. Certainly within the rules. No one has said anything to them.
All right, everyone's back on field. It's going to be Osra, who had that extremely quick catch in game one, versus Leo Freed, who has many big catches to his name throughout his quad ball career. Titans would love to come up with the grab this time. That would put them very close to the finish line. It's going to be the first to 140, just like game one.
Set score again is determined by the leading team score at the intermission, and you add 60. So we have New York Titans 80 points over Chicago Prowl's 60 points. Add 60 to 80, and you get 140.
Quick math.
Not what I'm known for.
It's Walters and Brown again as the beater pair for the Prowl here. We saw them play together in flag runner on pitch in game one, starting without control this time.
Adding some aggression and firepower to the dodgeball game for Prowl.
Titans are going to start with Tay and Chico again. Mike Lee gives it right to John Jackson.
As expected, New York pulling up a little bit, allowing their beaters to establish
they want the flag runner out to see what
game.
New York's beaters are going to do. Brown sends it over to Lee. Now Brown is committed.
Also with a chance on.
Mike Lee with a needless pass that's intercepted by Mercick-Ellis, and here comes Mercick-Ellis. Shoots. No good. But Mercick-Ellis saves it, gets it to Digman. Digman just has to beat Potter, rips a shot, and the Prowl have it. But then Leo Freed catches, but that might have been an unrelated call before Freed's catch. We'll have to see.
Okay, so Nathan Digman shoots and scores. They're stopping play due to something, perhaps a foul.
AR had a hand raised, and that happens right before Leo Freed comes up with the
Flag
grab.
runner stops paying attention to Leo Freed because play is stopped, and Leo Freed, not hearing the whistle presumably, continues playing. So that that flag catch will be called off.
Yeah, that was very bang. Freed, I think, was already getting ready to go in the motion, but definitely the whistle came first.
Absolutely. You just get so focused in the game, sometimes you don't hear it.
Chris Lecomte is bringing the quad ball over. John Jackson looked a little shaken up at the end of that play and is going to sub for Zach Armitrating, who we did not see much of in game 1, but is built for flag runner on pitch, one of the hardest chasers to stop one-on-one.
Absolutely, especially with dodgeballs focused in the flag on pitch game. You want those players that can run and take that physicality.
2 fouls on the play.
Okay, so we have a blue card on John Jackson for New York,
who had been subbed for injury, so Armitrain will go to the box. And then the Prowl bench gets a matching blue card for whatever they were saying, either to the referees or to the Titans.
They've opted to put
Kenny
Anna
Murphy's the coach, so someone has to serve the penalty, so she's just going to go serve it.
They still have Anna Holmes in the box as well from the penalty that occurred before the intermission. So Chicago down to 2 quad ball players and 2 beaters and 1 seeker on the pitch right now.
Okay, so I don't think the goal stood. The scoreboard certainly hasn't been updated. So it's still 80-60. Molly Potter catches a pass, rips a shot, it's high. And the Titans continuing to rush even with no beaters in the play. Osrose beats, so Leo Frieda's going to have a chance here. Matt Brown makes his way back over into the play. Exchanges beats with K. Leo Fried goes for the diving catch, can't quite come up with it. Walters beats Fried, though. Nathan Digman just very slowly bringing the quad ball up.
Just allowing maybe some time on the clock to expire, getting some other players in, and letting the game settle down around him a little bit.
And just knows there's no need to rush in this situation.
No.
Nice screen for Mercick Ellis. Digman goes to Mercick Ellis. Armitrating is there to try to meet. Mercick Ellis uses a great screen, frees Mercick Ellis, puts the ball through.
Incredible. Oh! And we have a potential flag catch from Noyes Osser again.
So a lot of them give the credit to Ariana Zhang, sold out with one heck of a screen on Zach Armitrating, who is a lot bigger than them. That opened Mercick Ellis up to get right to the rim for the dunk.
You know what? I'll say Ariana Zhang, a dog this weekend. She is another smaller body player on the field, but she has been scrappy and physical and no fear going up against Zach Armitrating.
That was the best screen I've seen all weekend, and now we're discussing a potential Ostra catch as well. And you just see, like, New York came into this period up 2. They rushed both of their offensive possessions, got no goals out of it. Chicago much slower and composed, and unless the call overrules the goal. Catch is good.
Wow.
So Chicago goes 1-0 with flag run pitch and then gets the grab. So, again, they're going to come out of this period with the score flipped.
I'm having deja vu, Ben.
This is almost the exact same.
Exact same. New York has yet to score in the second half. Chicago comes out, stays composed, gets a relatively quick flag catch, and now they're ahead.
New York needs to, I think, find a goal here just to right the ship and feel like this game isn't getting away from us, because I think they're also having that deja vu feeling, but a goal here would go a long way towards just calming everybody down.
That's got to feel awful. You got to know that you can produce in this game still.
Lee brings it across half court with Morella, Armitrating, and Potter. I haven't seen this line in this series until this moment. Potter goes to Armitrating. Armitrating back to Potter. Potter to Lee. Devin Lee catches Matt Brown's beat. Oh, the pass Armitrating can't be handled, and Nathan Digman will come up with it. So another stop. And Nathan Digman thinks they can run now. They're beat, but I think they block it.
That was a block beat.
Well done by Digman there. disastrous if that beat had stood, but Digman gets a nice block there. Digman looking to move now. Murphy's going to try to screen Mike Lee. Pass is made to Mercic Ellis, and the beat on Digman missed. Mercic Ellis is going to try to stall and then send it all the way back up to Digman.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Digman can't handle it, and it goes out of
heartbreaking.
bounds, though. So New York gets the stop.
Lucky
Might have lost that one in the
break.
sun, which is starting to
Yeah,
come
the
back out
sun
a
is
little bit
starting
here.
to come back out a little bit here. A rainbow pass across the field.
Jackson with the ball, sends it to Leo Freed. We're back to that first line for New York. Freed goes back up to Jackson. Jackson to Potter. Potter pump fakes but bobbles it, but it gets back to Jackson. Tries to get through Digman. Does. Met by Mercic Ellis. Gets it to Morella. Morella tries to shoot, and it's no good. A big stop from the Prowl.
Chicago
Something
Prowl.
just changes for this Prowl team after the 20-minute mark.
I don't know what it is. They come out slow and, keep it manageable in the first half, but it doesn't look spectacular. Second half, they come in, and it's a whole new team.
Coming up big in the clutch is the Prowl so far in Game 2. They lead 105-80. Need 4 goals to win. New York still needs 6.
Andrews in the game now.
Morella beat. Andrews had a chance at a shot. Passes it back out instead. Murphy goes high to Zoc.
Zoc bobbles.
Deflected a beat, but wound up on the ground. Goes back to Murphy. Murphy gets beat and just pops him up in the air. But Riley Andrews hustles back into the play.
It's
Goes
3 on
right
5.
in to Mercic Ellis, who
Oh,
can't
my
handle
goodness.
it. And Leo Freed comes up with the turnover.
Wow. Some ball handling issues as of late. I'm not sure if it's just the teams. We've got a timeout for New York. Yeah, I'm not sure if the teams are just out of sorts and that's leading to just some basics, fundamental issues, or if, it has been raining and now the sun's out. There might be some sweat as a factor. That's leading to the ball being a little bit slippery.
And, you should catch the ball. But credit to both teams' defenses who are putting a lot of pressure on the offenses, so the passes are rushed. They're a little wide. They're a little high. You as the receiver feel like, I have to catch this and go immediately, and sometimes you start thinking about your move before you've actually watched the ball into your hands, and drops happen in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to fundamentals, catch, then shoot, catch, then pass. But when you have that pressure on you, you have a defender bearing down on you, you kind of get ahead of yourself, put the cart ahead of the horse.
And it's New York's turn to call the timeout. They're down, but not out. They need 6 goals. Prowl needs 4.
We anticipated this coming. They have yet to score in the second half. Still
Almost
at
the
80.
exact same as Game 1. Again, Titans taking the timeout at almost the exact same point as Game 1 as the game starts to get away from the bit. Last time that did nothing to stop the bleeding. We'll see if it's a different story this time.
Yeah, we'll see how Prowl comes out. They've got to be feeling good, but, that last drive wasn't the most clean for them, so they want to clean that up a little bit too.
I saw Justin Cole, who's won championships with other programs in the past, just doing the big everybody calm down gesture to the Prowl bench, right? We're fired up, we're in control, but we haven't won the game yet. We just got to keep doing the same stuff.
Woosah, take a breath, play our game.
So coming off the timeout, the Titans will have the quad ball. Dodgeball control is with the Prowl, however.
And as a reminder, this is a win or go home situation for New York.
That's right. There's nothing they need to worry about right now except winning this game. They are going home all the way back to New York City.
So far here from Buffalo.
Across the state if they cannot come up with something here. Jackson bringing it down. Walter is doing a lot of pump fakes. Freed eventually ends up with the ball. Lee's beat misses, and that's the only quad ball for the Titans. So John Jackson sends it over to Morella. Tries to dance around Andrews. Rips it past to Molly Potter, who's beat in the back, though.
Rodriguez is there.
Andrews comes in. Andrews is going to run. They have Mercic Ellis as a cutter. Liam Zoc sets a screen. What a wrap from Leo Freed, who lost their brim. So now Zach has a hoop to get to. Goes all the way in. Dunks on Molly Potter. John Jackson was frozen between trying to help on the drive and worried about Mercic Ellis, and Andrews gets the finish.
Yeah, that defense just fell apart a little bit there on that transition offense play from Chicago. Like you said, just froze up John Jackson there. He had Molly Potter there. He trusted that, but, the size difference.
Yeah, Riley Andrews is a great finisher. And, again, did not play yesterday. Missed most of the last season with a pretty serious injury and looks absolutely fantastic in the semifinals here.
Prowl's got to be happy he's back.
Here's Freed. Bringing it all the way back up top. And now back across to Jackson. And a lot of the offense on this line is just Jackson and Freed moving it back and forth, trying to open something up. Now to Potter. She's got some space. She's going to go to Morella. And finally, the Titans get all 4 players to touch, and the result is a goal.
The drought is over for New York here. It's Tad Walters ripping across the field, chasing down a dodgeball.
Prowl is going to end up with dodgeball control. Tad Walters wants a call, which he's not going to get. Riley Andrews brings the ball up. So Chicago does give up their first goal in a long chunk of time here, but they have dodgeball control and the quad ball. And Dina goes in. Riley Andrews just kind of bobbles the ball, but manages to save it.
He's done that once already today. He passed to himself.
A beat. Murphy has a chance to shoot. Instead, he's going to go to the pass for Cole.
Oh,
Cole's
Justin
shot
Cole
is just
off.
wide. And Prowl, I think, thought it was good for a second, but Andrews does manage to run it down.
No, that was wide, unfortunately. Andrews saving that ball from going out of bounds. Wink now in. Amelia Wink in the dodgeball game.
Haven't seen much of her in the semifinals, but Prowl known for trusting the depth. There's Riley Andrews with a shot and a goal. Liam Zock with the screen. Liam Zock is always doing all the dirty work for the Prowl. Screening, assisting, a lot of tackles, a lot of defense, a lot of physicality, and it has the Prowl just 2 goals away from the win here. Dodgeball control did revert to the Titans off of that. It's back to Kay and Chico. This is what Titans wants on the field. The starting line of chasers, the beater pair they trust the most. Control in their hands. Jackson goes to Potter. Potter goes over to Freed. Freed goes back up to Morella. Morella to Jackson. New York had a couple chances if they wanted to be really aggressive there, but I think they're looking for the great look, not just the good look here.
Absolutely, that's what they need. Freed back from tagging in.
The question is, are they actually going to get a great look?
Against the Chicago Prowl defense, I don't know if there is one.
At what point are they just going to have to settle for the good look? Here comes Jackson now. Still not going to commit, though.
Kennedy Murphy wraps up off broom.
A lot of space for Jackson. I think he has to try to go. Finds Freed for the quickie, and Freed manages to get it off right before the beat. So the patience does eventually pay off for the Titans. It's 120 to 105. 125 to 100, excuse me.
I don't know if that was a great look, but that was a pretty darn good look for the Titans there. Their patience paid off.
It was a bit of an odd look there where Riley Andrews, who's in the green headband, was on the hoops instead of at point. So the Titans could just keep beating out the point defender, and Jackson could just get closer, closer, closer until the pass and goal was almost a gimme. Murphy goes back up top to Andrews. Control with the Titans. That compressed tree zone we've been seeing all day. Murphy to Andrews. Andrews is so close to the hoop, but there's so many potential shot blockers.
Yeah, some great shot blockers on the hoops there.
Murphy back to Andrews. Trying to get one of those Titans beaters to commit. Matt Brown gets Kay to throw. Murphy passes high to Justin Cole, and Cole is going to get to the rim and finish. Tay-K made a great catch, but not able to save control. But this will be a chance to run for New York. Tay-K rips a beater at a Prowl chaser.
There's
the third
no
dodgeball
blood.
Out of bounds.
There's
Here
no
come the
dodgeball.
Titans. Jackson breaks a tackle, fakes, easy finish. So New York does get the goal, but the Prowl are 1 goal away from finishing this. They are up 135 to 110 to 110. So New York would need to go on a 3-0 run here to win the game. Prowl just needs 1 goal to finish.
Prowl needs to get back to fundamentals, get back to basics here. That last game we saw it took them a few tries to get that final goal to put the game away. Right here, just sink into their offense, be patient.
And a lot of teams want to sell out in this situation, but that's not really Prowell's game. That time, though, Kenny Murphy is pressured by the point defender. Her pass is unclean. Tessa Chico gets there first, and it's an easy turnover for the Titans.
Haven't seen a lot of those sorts of mistakes yet. There was pressure, but, I mean, sending it down to May probably wasn't the best option.
Behind the hoop to Morella. No open hoops to shoot out. Morella is going to send it all the way back up top to Potter. Jackson behind the hoops is a look we have seen almost nothing from the Titans this entire weekend.
Warning
Obviously
for
a
stalling.
threat anywhere on the field. I think they're just trying to give the Chicago defense something else. Freed cuts back. Goes back to Jackson. Jackson has some space to work. Met by Murphy. I think New York is towing right up to the line of getting the stall call.
They've been warned already. Chris Lecomte
has armed the whistle. Morella goes to Potter. Potter is taking shot, and it's high again, and it's going to go over the midline.
It's going to go Chicago ball.
Definitely frustration for Molly Potter. That shot is there, just a little high.
Yeah, she's been off target all day. I like her taking the shots. They're there. She takes them when they're open. She's just been a little off target.
We saw that good one from her early in this one, but just not able to knock it home that time.
We've got 2 dodgeballs on the defensive side for New York.
But both on the ground, and Tessa Chico is all the way behind the hoops. Okay, we'll have to decide if he has time to relay one and pick up the other, or if he just needs to stop a potential quad ball drive from Chicago, with the Prowl only 1 goal away from winning the game.
Matt Brown with a ball in his hands. However, Noyes Osro off broom at mid-pitch will have to tag in before they're able to contribute.
Discussion on the referee. Okay, a ball is getting turned over.
Well, that changes things.
So Tessa will have one in hand.
Okay.
So as long as Tate K, John Jackson, and Lindsey Merrill here can stop Chicago from scoring quickly, Chico will catch up to the play, and it'll be control to the Titans. We'll see if they want to rush it. They don't. They're going to slow it down.
No. Well, Matt Brown
Chico
racing.
And Matt Brown throws one back, but Chico is
right
there.
to Chico.
Here's the pass
There's
to Justin
Cole.
Justin Cole is stripped by Freed at the hoop with the series on the line.
We've got a dog pile. Tate K cleaning it up.
That was a championship play from Leo Freed. That was the game right there, and he manages to strip Justin Cole at point-blank range, giving Tate K enough time to come in and make the beat.